Black Alpha Network. Home of Black excellence. Power to the people.
I organized the OGs in the East Coast and the West Coast and the penitentiaries to come up with a set of codes, because that's who's going to enforce this code and the thug life that's on the street. It's like we cleaning up the dirt. I can't change what the dirt that's here, but I can put all this dirt in one corner. You know what I'm saying? Somehow have some order here. And for that, they need to give me a little leg room. You know what I'm saying? Let me do what I want to do, because nobody else is going to do it. Nobody else wants to do it. But I'm not scared to walk in the middle of Watts, Compton, Chicago, wherever.
Yes, sir. It's about to go down. That part. Welcome back to the Black Alpha Network. It's your man, Black Alpha 6. Here we go. One love, one love. I hope everybody's doing good. I hope your family's doing good. And I hope you get to that MONEY money. That part above all, because it's all about family. I'm your family, you my family, we all family, and when they see this family, they know what it is. Foundational Black Americans. And we gon' ride 24/7, 365, no matter whatever, whenever, wherever, however. When you see us, you gon' see us as one, cause that's how we do it, unified. So in other words, if you fuck around, your ass gon' find out, and if you violate, then we gon' demonstrate. Yes indeed, yes indeed, yes in motherfucking deed. Back at it again, family. You know, every time we meet up right here on the Black Alpha Network, we gonna have a good time. We gonna roast, ask Candace Owens. We gonna gatekeep, we gonna G-check, and we gonna regulate. And that goes for anybody who's off code, anybody who's out of bounds, and anybody who's out of pocket. FBA gonna get some understanding. FBA gonna make things understood. FBA gonna let it be known. And right now, we gonna let it be known. And notice, family, when I say certified, I mean certified. When I say Black Society, I mean BLACK. And when I say Foundational Black American, that's exactly what I mean. Foundational Black American. Not Pan-Africans, not Africans Americans, not Africans in Americas. No, Foundational Black American, FBA certified 100. Get it right.
A lot of Black Americans still to this day carry their previous slave
Don't
owners.
say Black American, say American African.
American African.
Yes, sir.
You do know that a lot of African Americans don't like that term.
Well, they use African American. We're comfortable with African American.
Yeah.
But I prefer American African.
Okay.
Because we are not Americans, never have never been treated as such.
Yeah.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Family, do any of you agree with that statement right there? That we're not Americans? That we're just a bunch of Africans living in America by some big ass accident? Like we just got off the boat last night? Like our plane just landed today at 12:30? And we're just a bunch of lost immigrants who are visitors in our own country? Like we ain't got thousands of years of ancestral presence. Like our ancestors didn't build this country, create this country, generate all the wealth in this country, and contribute everything that's great about it. Man, hell no. We ain't going for that. Go ahead, turn up, family. We about to regulate today.
Yeah.
And the adjective precedes the noun. So when you say African American, you're describing a type of an American.
Okay.
We're not Americans. When you say American African, you're describing a type of an African. So that's why we say American African. American simply describes the African.
Yeah.
Versus African describing the American. We are Africans in an American context.
There you go, family. That was the artist formerly known as Dr.Umar Johnson, now known by his real name, Dr. CUBAR Vasquez, straight from Havana. And we're going to unpack why he's Dr. CUBAR. And we're going to unpack why Pan-Africanism never existed. And we're going to unpack why he's trying to all Africans matter, our reparations claim. Yes, we got all that on deck, family. You know how we do. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you share this video. And make sure you represent to the fullest. Certified salute. You know they say cocaine is a hell of a drug. So is jealousy. So is envy. And so is a big ass ego. See, your ego, it'll only take you so far before that shit starts getting exposed. See, when you somebody who's got jealousy and envy and spite and is built up all inside of you, and you got that real, if I can't have it, nobody's can have it attitude, that's the type of shit that brings people down. Foundational Black Americans, we don't go for that. Certified 100, we don't go for that. We represent together as a collective. I want to see my brother shine. I want to see my sister shine. That way we all shine. See, we got that we all have to shine or don't none of us shine mentality. That's how we was raised. That's how we operate. We got to make sure the whole family eating. If the family ain't eating, then we got a motherfucking problem. They don't operate like that. They operate on, if somebody got more than me, then I'm going to steal it from them. If somebody got more than me, then I don't want them to have it. They'd rather sink the whole damn ship than to see foundational Black Americans living well and doing good. Now, goddamn, ain't that a bitch? Ain't that fucked up? We just over here focused on empowerment, trying to take care of our own house and our own business, and these motherfuckers want to see us fall for no reason other than jealousy. And if you watch, and if you being honest, you'll see that that's exactly what these scam Africans are doing. And Dr. CUBAR is the main one. Let's keep it real, family. Our foundational Black American reparations claim has fucked up a lot of these scam Africans' pockets. Can we just say it? Can we put it all on the goddamn table? You gonna be real, you gotta be real. Ain't no such thing as kinda real. Sorta real. That's like being sorta pregnant. You can't. It's either you on or you off. You in or you out. And since we certified, we gonna say it how the fuck it is. Our foundational Black American pride and us delineating has set off a lot of these Pan-Africans because they see that money going dry. So they're saying, like a lot of them say, if I can't have the monies, nobody can have the money. And that's why they're throwing hurdles, obstacles, and blockades in front of our reparations every day. Think about it. We say we want reparations. Dr. CUBAR make 5 videos saying how we don't deserve reparations. We say that we're lineage first and we're delineating. Dr. CUBAR make 10 videos on why we're all just Africans who think that we're Americans. It's simple. You see the shit clear as motherfucking day. You know who's oppie and you know who ain't. Because they expose themselves. Now, I've been real quiet, real chill, cool, calm, and collected. But today we gonna put some names on some dates, on some addresses, and let the whole world know who's certified and who's on op time. See, we got so used to all these peoples of colors, all these minorities, all these blacks and browns, that people took their eyes off these scam Africans. You gotta remember, the scam African was the main one running around here hotep hustling. Making money off of telling you that you ain't really an American. Making money off of telling you you need to go back to Africa. Brother, you ain't from America. You really a damn African. So much of an African, you should buy these beads for $7.99 right now. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Y'all not really from America. No, you is not. What you should do is you should buy this plane ticket because we set up a Pan-African travel pack that sends 50 Black Americans over to Ghana each year. But what you got to do first is pay us, and then we'll send the ticket in the mail 2.5 weeks later. And if you don't get the ticket in the mail, you can call my assistant, 555-222-9910-1112. Motherfucker, give you a walkie-talkie phone number. Wasn't no real number in sight. Every single thing they could do to con foundational Black Americans so they can get your money on some type of Wakanda shit. And quite frankly, it's been very responsible for foundational Black Americans going over there and getting harmed. We always talk about the stories, the hell stories of Black Americans thinking they're going to Wakanda, going over there and not returning home. And I'm talking about elderly brothers and sisters. How many times have y'all seen that? How many stories have you heard about brothers, sisters, families traveling over there because some hotep hustler, some scam African sold them some fake ass Wakanda dream and they got over there and found out shit ain't sweet. And they got that scam African wake up call. Don't get that scam African wake up call, family, before it's too late. It's dangerous. You living dangerous chasing Wakanda. Wakanda's in the movies. Us certifieds, we knew that shit a long time ago. We ain't been putting on dashikis, hopping on that plane saying how we gonna leave America behind and build a better homeland. Hell nah, we understood that our homeland is right here. You chasing a homeland in a place you ain't never been to. You got it fucked up from the jump. And that reality came crashing down. A lot of folks didn't get that scam African wake-up call until it was too late and they was getting snatched out their goddamn house and they shit burnt down. And then you find out that the person you thought was your brother don't see you as a brother. That person you thought was a sister don't see you as a sister. And that motherland don't see you as a child of theirs. Yeah, real fucked up. And you left behind everybody who called you brother, sister, king, queen, goddess, and god. Who says that about each other? We say that. That's our terminology. That's Black American lingo. We are the only black people on the planet who refer to each other as brother, sister, or king and queen. They don't even say that shit in Africa. You running around here and watch a bunch of scam African DVDs and want to go over and relive the 19th dynasty of Kemet, not knowing that all your royalty is right here in these 50 states. Goddamn shame. And did you notice none of the scam Africans have ever denounced that type of treatment towards Black Americans? Not one. We done heard all these stories and you ain't seen one scam African come out and say, hey, I got a little disclaimer. They not gonna see you as brothers and sisters. Hey, I'm giving you a little heads up. They're not gonna be too friendly to you. They ain't said a peep about what happens to Black Americans when we travel over there and get harmed, deleted, canceled, and can't come back home. Y'all notice that? Have you seen one scam African come out and ever denounce that type of treatment? The same ones that always got some type of hatred towards us, always got some criticism towards us, always got their nose in our business, our policies, and our reparations, they don't ever say anything about the Black Americans who travel over to Africa and end up missing. They're silent. Well, I'm not. Y'all know Black Alpha, I'ma say something loud and clear. Listen to these testimonies from Black Americans on how they went over to Africa thinking things were good and they were treated terribly. And notice how none of these hotep hustlers said a damn thing about it. Not one. We have to push the stories. We have to tell the truth because none of them are gonna mention anything. Y'all remember that year of the return in Ghana? When they had these black folks saying, man, we going over to Ghana, we can live better. $5 goes a long way.
This African guy not too long ago, I was cutting his hair, and he said what he makes at his job in 1 week, he can pay off his rent for the rest of the year where he come from in Africa. And he had a regular old little job. What are we still doing here? Why is we here? Think about this. Brittany Griner just got released from prison for the Russian prisoner dude, and we just gave him back. I don't even think I want to be here anymore. And Africans come over here all the time, and they work hard to funnel money right back into their country because our money converts maybe triple the times the amount here. So they using our land to get rich over there, and we steady stuck over here broke. Come on, man. Let's go to Africa. They love us over there, black people. They love us in Africa over there. We think not because we see the stereotypes, what they show us on television. You know, TV control the narrative.
And did y'all hear about the story where the brother went over there and bought land and then the government just came through and bulldozed the shit? Broad day, they just bulldozed all his shit. And I believe, word on the streets, or shall I say, word in the village, I believe that they put up a Skittles bag community resort over there. Not sure, y'all check that out, let me know, because we all one big family, we work together. But the brother went over there thinking he was going to go to Wakanda, spend his $5 that goes a long way in Africa, and they bulldozed his shit. And the only people who spoke about it was the new black media. Listen to this story right here. The Scam African wake-up call.
So there is a news trending on social media about property or buildings demolished by the Ghana government, and those property happens to belong to African Americans who have moved to Ghana somewhere in 1996.
You know, it's sad that when you have to deal with scams and crookedness, prejudice, people who just want to take land. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. Don't buy land in Ghana. Don't buy land in Ghana. Ghana has a problem with land and have your land stripped away from you. I know people who have been killed over land disputes.
We were driving past this place, so this is Cape Coast. Not quite sure what's happened. They've just come and knocked somebody's building down, just like that. It's crazy. So apparently, the people who sold the land to him are saying his lease is up, but we all know he hasn't been here for as long as they're saying. They're saying 50 years is up, but we know he hasn't been here for 50 years. And people are here looting it, like looting what they can out of the building. This is so sad and so tragic. And you know, if this person who owns this place has been treated unfairly, then there really is no justice in this country. And that is tragic, and that is really sad, and it just breaks my heart. I'll see if I can. This is so bad. So bad. Oh, right.
And look, they're trying to steal our roofs and our sidings and stuff.
So what, they just turned up, no notice?
This morning they turned up. I wasn't here early when they turned up.
Right.
Our people were cooking in the kitchen. They turned the electric off, and then they started dismantling the building.
Wow.
They took the grates, that building right there.
Yeah. That one, yeah.
The building right here that's destroyed right here.
Yeah.
I just heard when I was in Cape that somebody put it on our site that that building was still, I have pictures of that building. It was still up. But they had taken all the windows out, all the doors off, and the grates, the security grates. That was the only building we had that was secure. That building back there behind the water tanks is the kitchen. So they were preparing food there this morning for the lunch that we do every day. There's a vegan restaurant that people order food from and come and pick it up here. And that's how I found out what was going on. I called to order some food. That's when they told me they shut down everything.
Oh my God.
There you go. There's the scam African wake-up call. That's what happens when you travel over there. You heard it all. By the way, those clicks and those pounds that you were hearing, that was the locals looting the building that was already bulldozed. So he got his shit knocked down by the government, and then he got his shit looted by the locals. That's what happens when Black Americans go over there. And that guy you heard talking, he said they used to make vegan lunches and feed the community. And that's the motherfucking thanks you get? Yeah, real live. Check out the video and you'll see it. And we're the only ones who call it out. Because if you gotta rely on all these other scam Africans, oh nah. They too busy wagging their finger at us and talking down on FBA to speak the truth. Damn shame. Who was the main ones out here selling Wakanda? Who was the main ones out here selling that Wakanda shit to Black Americans? It was the scam Africans. That's why we call it Scam African. And they had all types of shit. They was like, brother, you know my wife makes authentic dashikis, right? Yeah, and you could tell by the smooth texture of the cloth that it was made out of real lion skin back in Zimbabwe. Yup, I can go get one for you right now. But if you buy 2 of them, I'll throw in some zebra earrings to match and the kangaroo kufi. Man, the fuck out of here. They were selling all types of shit. Fucking Wakanda travel packs, kangaroo kufis, zebra earrings, lion skin dashikis, anything they could to scam foundational Black Americans. That's what they were doing. But once we started to delineate and we started to represent our own culture, they money started to dry up. Yep, and the more they money started to dry, the more they hate went up. Soon as foundational Black Americans said, we ain't really gotta leave to go home to Africa because we home right here. We ain't gotta chase after the Pan-African dream because we are the American dream. That shit changed everything. Next thing you know, they was making videos, they was putting up blockades, hurdles, trolls. Half them people you seen at them Juneteenth festivals that was selling all that RBG shit is them out of business scam Africans. That's why they was showing up in flocks, because they was seeing that money drop. So they said, we got to get in on everything. Isn't it funny how in one breath they'll say they don't support reparations, they don't support us being lineage, we not really Americans, but they had no problem coming up to all of our Juneteenth celebrations and selling they African beads, selling they kangaroo kufis, selling they zebra earrings, every goddamn thing they could find. So you see, this is where the jealousy, the spite, and the envy comes from. And Dr. CUBAR Vasquez, he been the one leading the pack. Oh yeah, you see it all day long. The very fact that he refuses to reference us as foundational Black Americans or just Americans as a whole. He don't even have to say foundational. He don't even call us Americans. He goes out his way to say Africans in America. Now family, how's somebody gonna tell you what you identify as? He identifies as a scam African, cool. I'm not gonna go out my way to call him something other than that. If that's what he feel, that's what he feel. I'm a foundational Black American, you're a foundational Black American, we all foundational Black Americans. But the same grace that we afford to him, he won't afford to us. As a matter of fact, he get damn near upset if we say anything other than. Because I tell you, that ego, that jealousy is a motherfucker. And you can see right now, the fact that we're on this new path and this generation is being defined by what? What's this generation being defined by, this whole era? Lineage and reparations. Those two things are synonymous. And Pan-Africanism is nowhere in sight. You can go back 20, 30 years ago, and it was Pan-African, Pan-African, Pan-African. How'd that work out for us? How'd that work out? Did Pan-Africanism push the reparations conversation forward? Did Pan-Africanism push lineage-based anything forward? No, because remember, Pan-African means you ain't American. And if you ain't American, you can't get reparations. Are you surprised that someone who identifies as a Pan-African is also anti-reparations? No, it is not surprising, because Pan-African by logic means they don't support lineage-based reparations, because in Pan-Africanism fantasy, ideology, dream, whatever the fuck, there's no such thing as lineage. Remember, there's no nations within Pan-Africanism. People hear that term and they think it's just a motherfucker with an RBG shirt on. Hell no. Pan-African means there ain't no lineage, so all of our lineage, heritage, and culture doesn't exist. Because remember, we're Africans just living in America. We are, by the definition of Pan-Africanism, we are no different than an African who got here last night. That's exactly what it is. As a matter of fact, Dr. CUBAR Vasquez, he tells us that those Africans who got here last night, it's okay for them to team up with the dominant society because we don't have an economic base. So the fact that foundational Black Americans don't have money to give away to all the Africans across the planet, that makes it all right for those Africans across the planet to fly they tether asses here, team up with the dominant society, and hate on us. That's not what we say. That's what he said. And y'all know right now it's receipt time. Brothers, sisters, kings, queens, goddess, and gods, let's do the damn thing. We say we got receipts. We say we roast motherfuckers with their own words. Well, let's get to roasting. How does Dr. CUBAR feel about tethers who come to the United States of America and hate on FBA? Well, let's hear him tell it in his own words.
If you want to get down with the most powerful country in the world, you're going to have to despise who they despise. And since America has done such a great job despising African people, anybody who wants to come to this country, even if they are African, are going to seek somebody else's company other than ours. Are going to seek somebody else's company other than ours. Are going to seek somebody else's company other than ours.
Okay, so they come over here and they want to team up with Karen and Ken. That's the translation. That's what he said right there. If you want to come to America and you wants to be down with the dominant society, then you got to hate Black people even if you are a Black person. Doesn't that throw a whole wrench into we're Africans in America? Because it sounds like the Africans in Africa come to America and hate on FBA. But check this out, fam. He don't just stop there. This is in his own words. I ain't making this shit up. You hear the audio. This ain't AI. This is him. This is coming straight from Dr. CUBAR Vasquez. He says, following that statement, he understands why they do it. Now think in your mind, would anybody else say it's okay for them to come over here and hate on us? Would anybody in the new Black media say that? Would anybody else go to that limit to make an excuse for off-coded Africans? Fuck to the no. Now he's saying shit that would nobody co-sign. It's one thing if you say something and you can get some other people to co-sign it. He's saying shit and all the certifieds are, oh hell no. What the fuck was he talking about? They laughing at his positions. They laughing at his takes. He's the only Black voice talking that shit right now. He got a position ain't nobody got. Y'all notice when you see people who are on code, we pretty much on the same page. Shit may change up. Shit may differ a little bit. You may have to cross some T's and dot some I's, but we pretty much see the same thing, right? This guy is saying some shit that don't nobody see. This guy is saying some shit that don't nobody say. This guy got some positions that would nobody take. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the movement done passed his ass by. We are on the FBA train and his ass is still at the station waiting for Mr. Mutombo to show up. Mr. Mutombo and Mrs. Joloff, they ain't coming. They said, fuck you, we driving. And that's where you done put yourself. So he condones, he supports, and he's completely 100% behind Africans coming to America and hating on foundational Black Americans. Boy, that's cold. Boy, that's cold, and ain't that a motherfucker. So, Mr. Pan-African, who's always wagging his finger at FBA, who's always trying to give us a Pan-African lecture, who talks to us like we kids in the principal's office, like we on in-school suspension. He tells us we all one big Black race, but he's cool with certain black people hating on other black people, as long as it's the African dishing out all the hate and foundational black Americans receiving all the hate. That sound like a flip-flop. That sound like a flip-flop. That sound like a cosign. That sounds like it's something he agree with. We don't write no passes for hating on other black folks so you can get next to the dominant society. Family, family, family. There ain't nothing more off code than teaming up with the dominant society to come after other black folks. I don't give a damn where them black folks is from. But Dr. CUBAR, Mr. Scam African from Havana, he thinks it's cool. As a matter of fact, y'all tell me right now, does this sound like a cosign? Does this sound like something that he's giving the green light to? Because if it ain't, it damn sure sound like it.
They are African are going to seek somebody else's company other than ours, right? That doesn't make what they do right. But we have to look at the fact that we as African people in America haven't done a whole lot collectively.
Watch the pivot.
To make ourselves the power base we should be for all African people. With our education, with our income, being the richest group of African people in the world in terms of take-home pay.
What?
We should be the power base for African people throughout the world.
No, hold up, wait a minute. Y'all notice how he just pivoted? You notice how it started off with Africans coming over here, teaming up with Karen and Ken, and now he talking about black folks in America ain't got money. How the fuck did he get here? How the fuck did he hit a U-turn in the middle of the highway and turn this shit back on us? The question was about Africans coming to America and hating on foundationals. And he even admitted that they come over here and they team up with the dominant society because that's how they get brownie points. And within a matter of 2 seconds, he flip-flopped that shit. And now he's talking about, well, it's our fault because we don't have an economic base. So he is saying, in my certified translation, it's okay for Mr. Fufu and Mr. Jollof to come over here and team up with Mr. Mayo so they can bring down foundational black Americans because basically we deserve it because we ain't got our money right. Man, get the fuck out of here. Take that shit back to Havana, CUBAR.
Y'all need institutions, we gonna fund them. Y'all have a problem with your water, we gonna fund that. You understand me? You got a medical crisis, we're going to take care of that. We have the resources, we got the personnel, we got the expertise, we got the money. We should be the power base. So when an African comes to America from outside of this country, they say, well, wait a minute now. If I align myself with the African American, what is in that for me? Because I don't even see the African American doing anything for themselves on a collective basis. Right. We have success, but it's all individual.
Freeze. First off, did y'all just hear that man say, we should be the economic base for all black folks on the planet Earth? Foundation. Ho. Let's get that straight. We got to get that straight. Hold up. Before we go any further. Did y'all just hear that man? First off, he co-signed people coming over here and hating on us, teaming up with the dominant society to do that. But that's violation number 1. Let's get to violation number 2 real quick. He said foundational black Americans should be the economic base for every black person on the earth. And basically, we should be one big ass bank and just loan money out to everybody on the planet Earth that's struggling. If your ass is struggling in your homeland, foundational black Americans can give you some money. If your ass is struggling in your own continent, foundational black Americans should give you some money. If your ass can't make it, you can't get your land popping, you can't get anything off the ground, just come on over here and we should be dishing out the money. Not worrying about our own money. Not taking care of our own situation, not keeping things in our own FBA house. No, we should be giving that money to Africa because, you know, Africa is a small little place and they are only a few years old and they just a little baby that needs to be taken care of. We need to cradle them and put them in a goddamn stroller and push them down the block. Basically, family, y'all tell me, Black Alpha, I'm saying it with my motherfucking chest. Doesn't that just sound like he said we should be cutting him a check? Didn't that sound like he's saying foundational black Americans should be giving reparations to Africa? That sounds like reparations in a roundabout way. Tell me it don't. Tell me that don't sound like somebody saying we should cut a check for everybody in the diaspora because they can't get their own shit popping. Foundational black Americans owe it to them. And not only did he say that we should cut all these other people a check, reparations, he also said the fact that we don't do that, it's okay for the African to come over here and hate on us. Man, take that shit back to Havana, Dr. CUBAR Vasquez. Way the fuck out of pocket.
Did y'all hear that? Quaker Grits is $20 million a year off black folks.
Quaker grits? Can I have your grit money for 1 year? Give me your grit money for 1 year and I will build 10 schools across this country. Give me your grits. Give me your Quaker grits. No more grits for 1 year. Can we sacrifice our grits for 1 year? Can we sacrifice the grits? If you give me the grits, 19 million on Quaker grits. $19 million on Quaker grits, black folk, if you give me your Quaker grits.
Yes, y'all heard that right. That is not fake audio. That is very real. That man is begging for your grit money while he's telling us to send our reparations money over to Africa. How come he's not asking Africa to send their mineral money? How come he's not asking Africa to send their diamond money, but he's over here lecturing black folks about grits? How much money we spend on grits, how we need to stop eating grits and help him build his school. True story, you just heard it.
Give me your grit money. I don't want your Louis bag money. I don't want your Mercedes money. I don't want your weave, perm, haircut, Air Jordan, Timberland money. Give me your grits. We spend $19 million a year on grits, and I don't have enough money to renovate the Garvey building.
I'll be damned. That man just sat there and said we should give them all reparations. That's reparations, family. That's reparations. And then notice this too, fam. He said because we in America have the resources. Certified 100, certified black society, my FBA family tree. Who got more resources than Africa? Are Africans not standing on their goddamn resources right now? Does every colonizer on the planet not go to Africa to take their resources? He just said that we got more resources than them. Where in the fuck does America have more resources than Africa? North and South America combined don't have as many resources as one part of Africa. He said we got the resources. So I guess we got all the diamonds, right? We got all the goddamn minerals too, huh? We pumping oil left and right. That's what we got here. And in Africa, they ain't got nothing. That man just said in America, foundationals, we have more access to resources than the goddamn continent that got all the resources. Come on. You got to be out your rabid ass Pan-African mind to utter some shit like that. You smarter than that, CUBAR. CUBAR, you smarter than that. I know you got you some degrees, brother. Should nobody be running around here saying some shit like that. I knew when I was 5 years old, Africa had all the resources, all the natural resources. I knew that America does not produce that many resources. How the hell don't you know that, CUBAR? I know in Havana, the school system is fucked up sometimes. I understand. But you got to do better, brother. You got to do better. Quit talking about what we need to do better. You need to step your logic the fuck up. You need to step your education the fuck up. Because if you running around here saying that 50 million of us should fund billions of black folks in Africa, you done lost your mind. Matter of fact, let's run this back, family. No, we got to hear that again. Once again, y'all tell me if this does not sound like a scam African version of reparations.
But we have to look at the fact that we as African people in America haven't done a whole lot collectively to make ourselves the power base.
And it's still more than them.
People. With our education, with our income, being the richest group of African people in the world in terms of take-home pay, we should be the power base for African people throughout the world. Y'all need institutions, we're going to fund them.
What?
Y'all have a problem with your water, we're going to fund that.
What?
You understand me? You got a medical crisis, we're going to take care of that.
What?
We have the resources, we got the personnel, we got the expertise, we got the money. We should be the power base. So when an African comes to America from outside of this country, they say, well, wait a minute now. If I align myself with the African American, what is in that for me? Because I don't even see the African American doing anything for themselves on a collective basis.
He is saying, once again, we should take everything that we have and fund everything that they don't have, even though they got all the shit. He put water in there. He said, y'all got a problem with water? We'll fund you with some water. How the hell you gonna fund somebody with water? What the fuck we supposed to do? Buy Aquafina and just send this shit on a boat over there? How the fuck do you got to fund resources in Africa, including the water? If Africans cannot control their own resources, which they haven't, if Africans cannot control their own minerals, which they haven't, if they cannot control their own goddamn water, that is an African problem, not a foundational black American problem. Now, he wants us to help them with their water, but has any of them assisted us with Flint, Michigan? Has any of them sent one dime? They ain't offered us a glass of water for Flint, Michigan, but they want us to fund the whole goddamn well system in their village. It's always take from FBA, but not give $1 in return. Listen to this bullshit.
Thank you, Sister Avanti, $10 coming on the Cash App. Thank you, sister. Next time, make it 20, but thank you for that 10. I know you barely had that. Thank you, sister.
What? That man just said thank you for the $10 you sent to my Cash App. Next time, make it 20. Y'all not hearing any illusions here, family. All of this is real. This is all real. This is coming from Dr. CUBAR. That's what he said. He said, thank you for the 10. Next time, make it 20, even though I know you barely had that. First off, you should be thankful. Second off, how you gonna tell somebody next time, make it 20, even though I know you ain't got 10? And then on top of all of that, he says FBA don't deserve money. So it's funny how we don't deserve money unless it's going into his scam African bank account. That's the scheming, that's the scamming, that's the plotting again. And that ties all the way back into his all African reparations matter. That ties back into us funding the whole diaspora. They don't give us shit. That goes back to him defending Africans coming over here and hating FBA so they can be next to the dominant society. And by the way, if he openly admits that Africans come over here and they seek out the company of W's because there's nothing in it for them hanging out with us, ain't that him admitting that Africans don't have an African mind? Ain't that him admitting Pan-Africanism doesn't exist? Ain't that admitting that they don't have a concept of race? And if that's the case, then what the fuck you trying to talk to us for? Hop your ass on a plane and go to one of them countries that you say we need to fund and tell them that shit. Don't tell us, because we understand what it's like to be black and proud. They don't, and you just admitted it. Telling you, man, it's just one big contradiction. Flip-flop all over the place. He openly tells us that they don't come over here to unite with black Americans. They'd rather be next to Trailer Park Trevor, Meth Head Melissa, and Mayo Matthew. And then in the next breath, he tells us to send them our reparations money. Boy gone. Get the fuck out of here right goddamn now. So basically he said we should repair Africa. When you say that we should invest in them with their schools, their finances, their resources, and their water, that means you're saying that we should repair Africa. Now, Africa willingly got colonized by the Europeaner. No one's saying how the Europeaner needs to repair them. It's funny because they could be chasing reparations. Y'all notice that too, family? Everybody in the diaspora is so focused about our reparations when they could just focus on their own reparations. They'll say some shit like, we was all slaves, there's only one slavery. Then go get your reparations check from whoever colonized you. You can go get your reparations checked by the whole goddamn world because the whole goddamn world done colonized you. They got plenty of options in Africa on who to go get reparations from, okay? Because they done let every goddamn colonizer who shows up take their shit over. Why the fuck are you worried about over the Atlantic Ocean and foundational black Americans reparations check and us getting our money from people who owe us the debt, when you can go point to any fucking country, any fucking continent and get one for yourself? Go get your own check, quit worrying about our check, and you might be somewhere. But notice what he said. Y'all gotta be real careful with these people who say invest in Africa, because really invest means reparations. When he says that we should invest, that means we should repair Africa. Well, what is repair? Repair is reparations. Watch for all these folks trying to get us to invest, y'all. I'm telling you, connect it, see all the dots. That's really just saying, give them FBA reparations. That's that Akon shit. Doesn't Akon say that? He says the same exact thing. Dr. CUBAR, you out here sound like Akon. That's that same Akon shit. My goal is to get every black American to bring their money to Africa. You got Dr.Umar, you got Akon, you got Dr. CUBAR, you got Don Aquarius. Same scam African shit. Always trying to scam somebody.
Is to get everybody to move back to Africa. That's my goal.
Okay.
I want to get as many African Americans back home to Africa as I possibly can. Because I know the day they move back, everything they fighting for in America, they will not have to fight for over there. All this struggle that they struggled over there, they're going to come there with this mindset, with this mentality, with the finances that they built, you know, the equity in life, and bring it back and invest that.
Pause. Notice that? The first thing he said was our equity in finances. He didn't say anything about our pride. He didn't say anything about our strength. He didn't say anything about our perseverance or anything, not our excellence. He said if they come back, they can bring their finances and their equity and invest. Didn't I say that investment in Africa really means send your reparations money over here? We can't get it on our own. We don't even want it on our own. We'd rather have the colonizer come over here, snatch us up by the collar in broad daylight, build restaurants in our own cities that we can't even come in, but it's okay because we can take FBA's money. So in other words, if they can't get it on their own, then they'll try to steal it from somebody else. And that's why Akon, Don Quarius, if you're familiar, has been running around talking all that dirt on FBA. But the one moment he says he wants us to come over there, the first thing he mentions is bring your money too.
Equity in life and bring it back and invest that in Africa, man, Africa could be the strongest nation in the world if y'all went back home. So we got everything that it takes to be that. We got the resources, we got the land, we got the population, and together we got the strength and we got the know-how.
Hold up, whoa, fuck that. I got it, family. I got receipts. Let's do this. Let's go. Notice how he said, we got everything it takes. Well, if you got everything it takes, then why ain't you doing it? If you got all that shit you just mentioned, all that glory and power, then how come you don't have it now? How come you're saying you got to rely on us to come over there and give you that extra push? You notice how they'll say they got everything, but the one missing component is FBA? You see how they feel that their future is tied into us? We don't ever say that. Have you heard any foundational Black American say, we'd be okay, we just need Africa? We get our reparations if Africa helps us. Oh, we get an anti-Black hate crime law. We just need Africa's help. We don't never talk about nobody's help. We don't talk about anybody's help here in America or outside of America. But yet, they're always talking about they need our help. They can't get none of their shit done, so they say, somebody get on the phone and call foundational Black Americans. We are that extra push that they need. Why? Thought you had it all. And notice how he said they got all the resources. Dr. CUBAR, he said they need help with all their resources. Which one is it? You see Pan-Africans going back and forth. Which side you flip-flopping? You're all over the goddamn place. And then one more thing he said we got all the strength. It's funny how he mentioned all the Scam Africa strengths, but when he started talking about us, he didn't talk about our strength. What did he talk about? He started speaking about our money. So he sees all these other things within them, but when it comes to us, all he sees is dollar signs. That's the same way the Tethers do, the same way the Fleers do, the same way the Fleedmen do, and that's the same exact way Dr. CUBAR and Akon Don Quarius do. It's all about FBA money, and if it wasn't for our money, they wouldn't have shit to say. Just go back a few years ago. It used to be stay home Makata, now it's come home brother, and we ain't falling for neither of them. G check. That man hell of off code, both of them. And something else, family, I don't know if people picked up on it, but did you hear him say Africa would be the strongest nation if we came back? Yeah, he said it. He said Africa, well, matter of fact, fuck that. Listen.
Man, Africa could be the strongest nation. Man, Africa could be the strongest nation. Man, Africa could be the strongest nation. Man, Africa could be the strongest nation in the world if y'all went back home.
You hear that? You heard that? He said Africa would be the strongest nation. Akon, Don Quarius, Senegal. Africa is a continent. Now, I know you hate to hear that from my foundational Black American self. I know you don't want to hear it because I know y'all ride around on that goddamn horse like y'all better than us. But let me tell you about your own homeland. The same homeland y'all can't get popping. So you're begging us to bring our reparations check over there. You got out your binoculars and you're all pocket watching us. But let me inform you and educate you. Africa, where you're from, is not a nation. It's a continent. America, where I'm from, is a nation and a country. Get your demographics correct, get your continent correct, and stop pocket watching FBA. You can't get this money. Now let me ask the family a question. Let me talk to the family. Let me talk to my certifieds. Because y'all know I love chopping it up with y'all. That's my favorite thing to do in life. If you're familiar with the Black Alpha Network, then you know I always propose this question. And I always want to hear what the family thinks. And every time I ask it, to be honest, I pretty much get the same answer time and time again. But to bring home a point, I'm going to ask it again. Let me ask y'all a question. What would happen if foundational black Americans had the same resources that Africa has in their homeland? If we had all the diamonds, the minerals, the oil, the lithium, all of that right underneath our feet, what if foundational black Americans had access to all of that? Where would we be? Would we be on the same level as them? Would they be building airports that we can't even fly in? Would they be building restaurants that we can't even have? Would they create whole neighborhoods that only the colonizers can live in? Would that be happening to us if we had access to all of the resources that Africa has? That's question part one. Now let me ask you the second part of that question. What would happen if foundational black Americans had the same population advantage that Africa has over everybody who comes over there? Where would we be? What would happen if we had the 3 billion people advantage that they got? What exactly would we be doing if we had all those numbers, all those demographics, and we had that populace that they got that they don't do shit with? I'm gonna go ahead and wait a minute. Let me go ahead and wait. I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and answer that question. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. I got y'all answer. I got it. I'll tell you what we be doing. We be whooping ass. That's what we be doing. I'll tell you what we wouldn't be doing. We wouldn't be begging anybody from another country to bring their reparations money over to us. That's what we would not be doing. We would not be fighting amongst tribes while the colonizer comes in and robs us blind. That's what we would not be doing. So the moral of that whole question, I say that to say this, is that foundational black Americans, if we had their resources and their populations, we would not be in the same position. So therefore, nobody can compare us. We are not the same. Remember this, foundationals, we win with less. They lose with more. Point blank. Yes, I said it and I meant it. Yes, I do. But hey, let me bring it in. Let me make it even more clear. Let me give you a Black Alpha exclusive. Family, do you know the Chinese population in the whole continent of Africa? Now, look at all the news clips, all the articles, and everything you see and you read about the colonization of Africa right now. A lot of people are calling this the Scramble for Africa Part 2. Now, mind you, the Scramble for Africa Part 1 was in 1885. So when foundational black Americans were coming out of slavery in the 1860s, Africa was going into colonization, a deep colonization, in 1880s, 20 years later. So when we were breaking out, they were going in. While we were taking the shackles off, they were putting the shackles on. This is what nobody talks about, fam. This is what nobody talks about. But look at what we've done since then. Achievement, achievement, achievement. Even when there's setbacks, we still achieve. Look at everybody, the Dr. Kings, the Malcolm X's, the Huey Newtons, the Bobby Seals, so on and so forth. We've got a lot of brothers and sisters who have putting it down. What do they got? Bad story after bad story after bad story. So that first scramble for Africa, where the European countries literally just diced them up like a piece of pizza, they was like, hey, Italy, take that. Belgium, take that. England, take that. Germany, take that. I ain't lying. They literally just got handed the fuck out. It was like Christmas. They were just giving European countries, African countries as presents. Like it was fucking Secret Santa. They was like, here you go, here you go, here you go. That's what they were doing.
Have you ever wondered how Africa came to be divided up and colonized by a bunch of European countries? If you've never heard of the Berlin Conference of 1884, you're about to get a window into the very definition of audacity. Leaders from 13 European countries, plus the US and Ottoman Empire, decided to hold a conference in Berlin in 1884 to decide what countries got to rule various regions of the African continent. Belgium's King Leopold decided that Africa was the next big territory that needed to be exploited for its natural resources and land. Germany's Chancellor Otto von Bismarck decided that rather than go to war over it, it would be much more civil to call a meeting with 15 countries to divide the continent up, like gentlemen, if you will. No African leaders were invited to participate. The Scramble for Africa marked a 20-year period of pillaging, exploiting, dividing, and conquering nearly every part of the African continent to establish territories for material gain and power for 7 European nations. The audacity.
But family, they're going through a part 2 to that right now. So as we move into the reparations era in America, they're going into the scramble for Africa part 2. Only difference is now you got people competing over Africa. You always hear about China and America competing over African resources right here today. There's literally a cold war about who's going to control Africa, and Africans aren't even in the conversation. And that's part 2, not to mention part 1 from the 1880s. Damn, fucked up, right? Why do you think Joe Biden went and had that whole summit where he was talking about investing billions of dollars to Africa, where he was telling them slavery was our original sin? And by the way, Mr. Mutombo was cosplaying us and he was saying, that's nice. Thank you for what you did to us. Now hand us the billions of dollars. Yeah, I did a whole episode on how Joe Biden was having meetings with African leaders and the African leaders were pretending to be FBA so they could take our money. So that highlights a whole nother issue where Dr. CUBAR and all the little Hotep hustler scam Africans are trying to find a roundabout backdoor way of getting our reparations. The leaders are trying to do a front door way of getting our reparations by making deals with the government. Let's not forget when Kamala Harris flew over there and she had all those fake ass meetings, them fake ass tears, and was talking about Africa and America investing. Why are they doing that? Because China is over there colonizing as well. So they're facing 2 colonizers today. The scramble for Africa part 2 is going on today. But let me tell you the population of China over there. Family, are y'all ready for this? Are y'all ready? Are you sitting down? And I'm serious, this real. This like a Black Alpha exclusive. I'm about to say some shit. This is a big receipt. Family, do you know that the population of China in the whole continent of Africa is only 70,000 people? Only 70,000 Chinese people are in Africa. Yes. Family, can I say right now aloud what you're thinking? Can I say it? I'm just going to say it with the beat in the background, speaking into this microphone on the Black AlphaCast. Subscribe, appreciate, certified salute. How in the hell do you get colonized by only 70,000 people when you got 3 billion people in your own homeland? What the fuck? Make this make sense. There ain't no way, family. That's it. I don't want to hear nobody, listen, nobody, ever better compare foundational Black Americans to any of that. No. 70,000 people? You got 3 billion people and you get disrespected? You get talked down to? You are waving they flag? Nah, bruh. Nah, that ain't hitting. That's a bad look. The math ain't mathing. Matter of fact, let me bring it even further, family. If there's 70,000 of them and they're colonizing Africa right now as we speak. So what I'm saying is, as we listen and we all chop it up and we all meet up right here today on this Black AlphaCast and we going in with that FBA energy and we having a damn good time, they're being colonized by those 70,000 people. Do you know a town in America that has 70,000 people? Yes, I'm about to tell you. Matter of fact, hold on. I got my Alexa right here. Check this out. Let me give you a town in America that has 70,000 people. So let me phrase it. Let me put it in a frame. They're getting colonized by 70,000 Chinese while they have 3 billion Africans. Now listen to this. Hold up. Let me cut the beat. Listen to this, family. Alexa, what is the population of Bowling Green, Kentucky?
According to the 2020 U.S. Census, the population of Bowling Green is 72,300 people.
Wait, just in case you didn't hear that, one more time.
According to the 2020 U.S. Census, the population of Bowling Green is 72,300 people.
Yes, Africa is getting colonized by the same amount of people as Bowling Green, Kentucky has. It's a wrap. I'm done. I can't even put no more receipts on the table. You know what's fucked up? When you can't even put no more receipts, the receipts is over. That's it. That's like the TKO receipt. Case closed. They are getting colonized by the size of Bowling Green, Kentucky, a small town in the United States of America. And by the way, shout out to Kentucky, Louisville, Springfield, all the way across. Much love. But damn, how are you can you say LA? I would even took like New York or Chicago. We ain't even talking about a third-rate city. We're talking about a small town. How are you getting colonized by a small town? And you got billions of people. And you on the biggest continent. We are not the same. Receipt, spoiler, moving on. Proceed. Let me tell you something. If an African comes over here and says, what are foundational black Americans doing for themselves? I would simply say, what the fuck are you doing for yourselves in the biggest continent on earth? How can somebody who is in the condition they're in their own homeland, don't own nothing, don't have nothing, don't create nothing? We're never bought and sold. As a matter of fact, all the ones who were bought and sold came here, and they're the ones who sold them. How the fuck can you not control anything in your own homeland? You got colonizers who just showed up last night, and they whooping your ass, and there's only 3 of them. How are 3 people whooping 3 billion people's asses? Tell me that. And you're going to come over here and look at us and say, well, I haven't seen you do anything for yourself. I ain't seen your continent do anything for their goddamn self, Joloff. Matter of fact, you're only known for Joloff. Joloff is what Africans are more known for in the 21st century than any diamond, than any mineral, than any resource. Said it. Said it, we'll say it again. Jollof is the only thing that Africans are known for in the 21st century more than any of those damn resources. You're looking at our resources when you're standing on them. You're critiquing what we ain't got when you ain't had shit in all of modern history. Foo-foo. But Dr. CUBAR says that foundational black Americans should cut Africans a reparations check, because that's just reparations, family. Let me tell you something. If you help somebody out with their education, you help somebody out with their water, you help somebody out with their resources, even though they got more than you got, if you help them out with all that for free, is that not reparations? Exactly. All African reparations matter. That's what he's doing, and I said it from day one. Now, according to Dr. CUBAR, he said we got the personnel. Family, just tell me if I'm wrong. Africa has billions of black people. We got millions of black people. Now, is millions less than billions? Because I always thought that millions came before billions. Now, Dr. CUBAR, I know the education system in Havana's all fucked up and you done dove off the goddamn deep end. You done hopped into the water with no goddamn life jacket. I understand all of that. But bro, your math ain't mathing. Last time I checked, it goes millions, then billions. They have billions of people. We have millions of people, which means they have the personnel to do for themselves. They need to get their own shit together because they have the numbers. As a matter of fact, the one thing that everybody always laughs at is the fact that Africans have the numerical advantage and are still losing. They are over there getting colonized by 15 people. 15 people will show up on a boat and colonize a whole goddamn country, have your kids speaking their language, have your kids waving their flags, and then have your women, because over there, them African women be swirling. And what I said, you mix a tether and a swirler, you get a twirler. So them African women be over there twirling, and the colonizer drops them and then leaves them. We all know this. And you're doing it with billions of folks. They'll put you in jail, and they'll go actually protest and say, free Mr. Mutombo! Free Mr. Mutombo! When you could just walk your ass down to the jail and pull Mr. Mutombo out and the colonizer can't do shit because you got billions and more people than him. But you still don't do that. You want to know what a fleer means? Fleer means failure. So anybody who comes over here and they can't get their shit together because they couldn't get their shit together in their homeland, they are a failure. So CUBAR can make all the motherfucking excuses he wants. The whole world, including us, knows what's really going on over there. And what it is that they're docile, they have a defeated mentality, and they love the dominant society. And when you love the dominant society, you probably also hate other black people. And that's why they'll fight each other over tribe all day. That backstabbing culture. So let's not act like the immigration office made these people hate us. Let's not make it seem like they come over here and they get awoken to not liking us. They were already anti-FBA before they stepped foot on that plane. And only thing they did is they got here and the dominant society gave them a little pat on the head and some brownie points. And now they willing to risk it all. There's so many motherfucking issues over there. They shouldn't be worrying about foundational black Americans because we ain't worrying about them. So you can make all the motherfucking excuses that you want. It still does not change the fact that they come over here with anti-FBA sentiments, and Dr. CUBAR, obviously by his own statements, co-signs it, condones it, and agrees with it. Anytime you say that somebody comes over here and they feel that they gotta hate on black Americans, it's not right, but then that means you condone it. Period, point blank, nothing else, we moving on. Ain't no goddamn excuses, ain't no alibis, and ain't no justifications. There ain't nothing you can say to me that will make me forgive somebody for saying they understand or to give some long drawn out fucking excuse why it's okay to come over here and throw dirt on foundational black Americans. Hell no, that was too long for me. Family, that was too long for me. Fuck no. If I see the same situation, say Black Alpha, and I'm sitting down, and someone says, Black Alpha, how do you feel about people who come over here and they hate on black Americans? I'm gonna say, fuck them. I'm gonna say, they off code, we ain't rocking with them. You see, that took 2 seconds. Dr.Umar gave a elongated, drawn out fucking excuse. It was too many words, too many goddamn syllables. It don't take that many syllables to say somebody's off code. That shit was stretched too fucking far out. Anytime someone answers that question with that long of an answer, oh, trust and believe, they making excuses. Oh yeah, he didn't want to go there. He didn't want to go there because one pattern we all see with Pan-Africans, or excuse me, scam Africans, is they never criticize Africa. And if they do criticize Africa, they know how to sprinkle some sugar on it. They know how to tie a ribbon on it. They put a nice little bow tie on it and they hit you with a bunch of buts, howevers, let me explains. They don't do that shit with us though. You notice that? When it comes to criticizing foundational black Americans, it's y'all need to do better. We don't love ourselves. We are our own worst enemies. When it comes to Africans, well, they don't know any better. We need to help them. Let's cut them a reparations check. Let's give them all of our resources because we needs to be the economic base. You just seen a minute ago when the guy asked him, how do you feel about Africans hating? Within 1 second, he flipped it and started criticizing black Americans. He had his opportunity. He's like, yo, these people come over here and they hate us. Dr.Umar said, yeah, but black Americans deserve it. Come on, man. You saying it straight up. There's a lot of ways of telling somebody fuck you without saying fuck you, okay? There's more than one way for a person to tell you how they feel about you without just saying it. A person ain't got to say F-U-C-K-Y-O-U to say fuck you, all right? They'll find every little sneaky way to say it, and that's exactly what Dr. Cubar was just doing. The question was about Africans hating on us. His answer was black folks in America need to do better. What the? You want to talk about a flip-flop? He did that shit in 1 second. Y'all remember that time when the person asked Joe Biden about reparations for black folks and Joe Biden's answer was about immigration for Mexicans? Y'all remember that? That's exactly what Dr. Cubar does. He'll flip the question, deflect the question, and project the question off of critiquing Africans onto lecturing foundational black Americans. It'll be some shit like, how do you feel about Africans coming over here and hating on black Americans? He'll say some shit like, well, how do you feel about black Americans not having money? We'll be like, what? What the fuck that got to do with that? How do you feel about Africans coming over here and teaming up with the dominant society? Well, how do you feel about black Americans buying Jordans? What the fuck? How the fuck we get here? How the fuck we get here so fast? And he'll do that shit real slick. Dr.Umar is a very intelligent person. I know he done dove off the deep end. I know he damn near senile at this point. But he's a very clever person. And these little motherfuckers that he be on these little podcasts with, they got 22 viewers and 5 subscribers and shit. They don't know how to handle it. He'll flip it on them and eat them up. And they'll be like, huh? What? Who? He don't never sit down with no thorough. You notice that? Who the fuck be interviewing this guy? You don't never see him really sitting down with nobody who's solid. No certifieds, because they wouldn't go for that shit. We gonna call him out on it, wouldn't we, family? Wouldn't we call him out on that? You think he's gonna sit down with a real B1? You think he's gonna sit down with a real certified 100 in the new black media and we let that shit slide? You think we gonna let him hop, skip, and jump and dance all around critiquing Africans and blame us for every 2 things that pop off? Nah. That's why he stay clear of the new black media. Dr. Cubar ain't spoke to nobody in the new black media. Who be these people that he be sitting down talking to? I don't even be knowing these people. And that's why he be eating them up, talking over them, getting loud and shit. Y'all seen that interview when he was sitting there talking to them guys about responsibilities in the community? Damn near set off a whole fucking gender war. Because them guys didn't know what the fuck they were saying. It was, well, you know, I mean, I guess I don't be knowing none of these people, fam. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I know certified. I know the new black media. I know all of y'all. Some of these people that be interviewing him, I don't know who they are. He don't ever stop on this side of the fence and talk to some real people who got real intelligence and real thorough and are plugged in. Because we wouldn't go for that shit. Them interviews would not go down that way if he was talking to Black Alpha. Hell to the no. We gonna say, stop the goddamn car. Let's talk about Africa. Nope, you ain't skipping over Africa. You ain't doing the goddamn moonwalk. You gonna sit here and answer these questions thoroughly. And if you say some bullshit, we gonna call you on it. That doesn't happen enough. And that's the way we gotta continue to put pressure on anybody. I'm not just talking about Dr. CUBAR Vasquez. I'm talking about Mr. Hernandez, Mr. Sanchez, Angeles. I don't give a damn who you are. You get pressed. And people ain't pressing enough. Not for me. So we understand that's exactly how scam Africanism works. It always critiques foundational Black Americans because what did I say in the beginning? They rely on hustling. They rely on scheming, plotting. That's the whole thing. And their money dried up because we've been lineage based. Yes, lineage based and Pan-Africanism don't coexist. Let me say that one more time. Lineage based and Pan-Africanisms do not exist because under Pan-African ideology, there's no such thing as lineage, there's no such thing as heritage, and there's no such thing as nation. Now, you may have to pay taxes to your nation. Let me ask anybody here. Can anybody in this room say they not gonna pay taxes to the nation because they Pan-Africans? Is anybody here gonna say, well, I'm not a part of America because I'm a Pan-African and you just gonna get away with not paying your taxes? Would that work for anybody? Anybody? No? Can you just tell the government, fuck you, I ain't paying shit. I'm a Pan-African. I'm gonna pay my taxes to the Ivory Coast. That shit wouldn't end too good for you. But that's how Pan-Africanism is. So what you see on one hand is you have Pan-Africanism that has never done anything for foundational Black Americans or anybody because it's a Disneyland ideology. And then on the other hand, you have lineage base. And you can't run from your lineage. Either you are of the lineage or you're not. See, scam Africanism, you can just pick and choose. You can hop, skip, and jump. You can front flip, back flip, cartwheel, whatever you choose. You can't do that with FBA. It's what we all are and we wear it proudly. And you can tell that they feel some type of motherfucking way about us being proud of our lineage. Who gets more salty about us being prideful of our lineage than Dr. CUBAR? Who gets more angry and just fucking bitter about us loving who we are, where we come from in our culture than Dr. CUBAR? I mean, this guy has literally went on an anti-FBA tour ever since we got lineage-based popping. I'm telling you, lineage-based has canceled out Pan-Africanism. They wish they can go back to a time where motherfuckers was putting on them fake-ass dashikis, where they was putting on them zebra earrings, where they was running around here talking about go home, brother, you ain't really American, y'all are not real citizens. They were trying to get us to denounce our citizenship. And let me tell you who would have loved us to denounce our citizenship? All the people of color. Imagine that, family. Let's go into a world. Think about this. I want everybody to imagine this. Let's go into a world where we went along with Pan-Africanism. We said we ain't American, we denounced the flag, we denounced everything, we really just Africans in America. You know, all that we're just Africans in America shit that he's always trying to put on us. Imagine if foundational Black Americans all agreed with that and we accepted that ideology. Who would be the number one beneficiary group to all of that? The people of color. The people of color want us to denounce our citizenship, so does scam Africanism. The minorities want us to denounce our citizenship, so does scam Africanism. The blacks and browns, no elition, want us to denounce our citizenship, and so does Pan-Africans. So you see that the POCs, the minorities, and the blacks and browns, and the Pan-Africans all think alike. Now, family, when two motherfuckers think alike, and the one thing that they think about is replacing foundational Black Americans either directly, indirectly, consciously, or subconsciously, that sounds like a motherfucking op. So we got to put the Pan-Africans and the scam Africans in the same box with the minorities, the people of colors, and the blacks and browns, if you haven't already. I know I have, and I'm sure my family has already done the same thing. That's how we got to look at them. I'm telling you, it's a whole apparatus of people all across the world who are shook by lineage-based foundational Black Americans. Representing your lineage and finding power in your lineage, not only does it empower you personally, it also empowers us collectively. And don't let anybody tell you it hasn't. Look around, family, we're all living proof. Look at how far we've come in the last 5 years since we became directly lineage based. Don't let Dr. CUBAR come around with that negative energy. Ain't this dude negative? Ain't he negative as fuck? Let me say this about Black folks, certified Black society. We don't like those real doom and gloom Black talkers. That type of shit, that's that church shit, that's that deacon shit. That's that, you better pick up your pants and repent your sins or you'll be struck by lightning on the third day. Man, we got rid of all that shit with the old Black church. And if you notice, Dr. CUBAR, he's starting to slide closer and closer to that church shit. A lot of times when you see him out there taking pictures with people, it be looking like the damn pastor. A lot of them old Black women that be like, oh, Dr. Uzmars, hey, nice to see you. And he be taking pictures. Don't that be looking like the deacon that be talking to everybody on the low? I'm just saying, I'm not saying he doing it. I'm just saying it damn sure look like it. But it's the way he speaks. He's got this negative doom and gloom lecturing shit. Look at all of our brothers and sisters in the foundational Black American circle, okay? Look at all the new black media. The one thing everybody tells me is, Black Alpha, you could be a damn motivational speaker. You got a way with words. You got a way to inspire people. You can make somebody get up right now and go grab the money. And I love that, because that's just who I am naturally. I got so much trust, so much faith in our people, it don't matter what the fuck someone says. You can say, man, we ain't never gonna get it done. I'm gonna say, well, you can sit your ass down. Let's go do it. Because we unstoppable, unbreakable, untouchable, unmatched, and stronger than ever. Yes, head to the sky. CUBAR don't talk like that. He don't talk like our brother Jason Black. He don't talk like our brother Professor Black. He don't talk like our brother Tariq Nasheed. Notice the new black media and how we talk, how we teach, how we always try to uplift people and leave you with that last little sentiment. Oh, we gonna get shit done. He don't talk like that unless he's talking about Africans. But when he's talking about foundational Black Americans, 99.9% of that shit is doom and gloom. It's negative as hell. It's basically, we fuck, we done for, we our worst enemy, go ahead and give up. It ain't no type of shit. He be talking about teaching kids. Bro, you ain't inspiring nobody with that shit. You become a big lecturer, like an old ass principal. All you do is just wag your finger at black folks, pick up your pants, show responsibility, take accountability, get it together. That shit ain't moving nobody. And if you look, people ain't fucking with them no more. Let me say one thing about foundational Black Americans. Y'all know what it is. If somebody come around with that negative energy, and it's always negative. You ever have a friend or somebody you cool, a cousin, I don't know, somebody you work with, and every single time you see him it's some negative shit, and you'll call it before it happens, the goddamn phone will ring, and you'll be like, uh-oh, here go that negative shit again, and you'll say, hello, you'll try to be cool, right? You'll try to be cool and be a good person, and be there for whoever it is, and be like, hey, how you doing? Man, I'm just tired. God damn. Man, click. That's what we'll do. We'll hang up on your ass quickly. Ain't nobody out here trying to engage in nothing but negativity. Ain't nobody out here trying to get talked down to. And damn sure no foundational Black American is always trying to get lectured. First off, who the fuck are you to lecture us all the time? And second, we already got the whole world against us. We already got to deal with the dominant society, anti-black hate, anti-foundational Black American hate. They created new ways of hate just so they can try to put that on us. We don't need to hear Dr. CUBAR every weekend yelling at us about buying Jordans. I don't even fucking buy Jordans. We don't need that. So that's what it is with us. FBA, our lineage, heritage, and culture, we don't do that negative energy shit. We might hear you one time, 2 times, maybe even 3. But after that 3rd time, oh, we turning you off. We gonna turn your ass off and we gonna stay on that positive energy, them positive vibes, and then we gonna go get to the money. We ain't gonna get no achievements with that negative energy. We ain't gonna get nothing accomplished with all that negative energy, and we damn sure ain't gonna get the reparations money that is owed to us with all that negative energy and getting yelled at about buying Jordans every week. We will cut your ass off like a light bill. And if you watch, that's exactly what's happened. A lot of people that used to rock with Dr.Umar back in the day, they don't rock with him no more. They done quit fucking with him and just moved on. Cause black folks ain't gonna sit here and get ridiculed all day while you sitting here caping for Africans every chance you get. And then you come up with all these crazy ass theories. What we need to do, we all need to lock arms on the 7th day of the week, jump over a fucking rainbow, land on our left foot, and start throwing money to the diaspora counterclockwise. Man, get the fuck out of here. You ever hear his reparations plan? His reparations plan, first off, he openly said he don't support reparations for foundational Black Americans, but he does support reparations for the whole diaspora. Now guess who else supports reparations for the whole diaspora? Tethers. A tether will come here right now, and if you tell them the reparations is just for foundational Black Americans, they'll say, you're being divisive. I don't support reparations. But if you tell them they can have some reparations, then all of a sudden it's, I believe reparations. You see what I'm saying? They'll flip-flop all over the place. Dr. CUBAR has openly said that he does not support reparations for us because we do not know how to spend our money. We are financially illiterate. This is his words. This is not what we say. This is what he says. He says he does not support reparations for us, and he don't believe that this generation is intelligent enough to get them. God damn, you want to talk about negative energy. You want to talk about being toxic. You want to talk about talking down to somebody. What you call that? And to make that even more fucked up, Dr.Umar's reparations position is exactly the same as Dr.Phil's. Listen.
You're given a history lesson which is indisputable, Professor. Those are the facts. But I can tell you from a psychological perspective that if you take $350,000 or $840,000, and you write a check to any group of people, black, white, poor, homeless, whatever, you give any group of people that much money and say, there you go, best of luck, and you come back in 6 months, they're going to be broke. So whatever reparations are done, that would be an absolute disaster as opposed to guidance and help in creating generational wealth as opposed to income.
Okay, now that is the W doctor. Now listen to the black doctor and tell me if either one of these doctors feel any differently about reparations. Here's Dr. CUBAR.
But don't you think that if we got reparations, that would have helped?
Let me ask you a question. The question on the table. If we get reparations, will that help us? If somebody is mentally ill in a mental asylum, mental hospital, you give him $1 million.
Gone.
Does it reverse the illness?
No, it don't.
Does it do anything to treat his problem?
Sounds just like Dr.Phill.
So let's take that to a community. If a community has no institutions, no way to trap the money in their community, they own none of the institutions, and you drop a couple $1 trillion in that community.
It's over.
How is that money going to benefit the people when all the institutions in the community that are going to take their money are not owned by people who look like them? I'm going to ask it another way. If we don't responsibly spend the money we already have,
how can we spend more?
What makes you think giving you more is going to change your situation?
Dr.Phill said that.
I want to be clear. What I don't support is thirsty, opportunistic Negroes who are pushing for reparations externally before we have delivered reparations internally to ourselves. In other words, most of the saving that has to be done for black people must be done by black people, and no amount of money going to fix that.
Right.
When you look at our deepest rooted problems, no money can fix them.
Yeah. Man, but
you want to decorate your branches before you re-solidified your roots. Man. It's not going to work, brother.
But Dr. Umar, we 400 years behind. Imagine all that time.
The money ain't going to help you catch up. Money ain't going to help you catch up.
Tell me the difference. Tell me where's the lie. Dr. CUBAR and Dr.Phill have the same identical exact position on reparations. And what is that position? That is, we are not intelligent enough and we are not financially literate enough to control the money. Dr.Phill said, I don't believe that if you cut a check for somebody, they're going to be able to keep it. They're going to go broke. And Dr. CUBAR said, if we give them the money, that means you ain't gonna be able to spend it. It's the same exact thing. One motherfucker said that from the dominant society. The other motherfucker said it from the Pan-African society. Or shall I say the Pan-African fantasy. But what's the denominator, y'all? The denominator is both of them do not want money in our hands. Didn't I say before on the Black Alpha Network that anti-foundational Black American sentiment makes strange bedfellows? All of a sudden, you start seeing people who don't even agree. Motherfuckers who ain't never on the same page. But all of a sudden, when we start talking about cash payments, they start agreeing with each other. You see Pan-Africans and Tethers, they say the same exact thing about FBA. You see the dominant society and the people of color, they start saying the same thing about FBA. You start seeing the blacks and browns, the Dr.Phils and the Dr. CUBARs all saying the same thing. They don't want us to get money. And they'll come up with every single lie, every single backhanded undermining statement so they can prevent it. But we see through all the bullshit. Let's get to the facts and give some certified translation. They're basically saying we don't want FBA to get money. One is because Dr.Phil's from the dominant society and he knows we will get money and turn this motherfucker up. And two, Dr. CUBAR is from the Pan-African fantasy and he knows we get money and turn this motherfucker up. And the more we turn up our lineage, the more Pan-Africanism goes down. Everybody's got a dog in the race. Everybody knows that foundational Black American financial empowerment threatens every single con game, hustle game, oppression that they try to throw on us. Everybody's got a reason. The person of color, he don't want us to get the money because he understands he's not going to be able to mooch off of us anymore. The scam African, he don't want us to get the money money because he understands he won't be able to mooch off of us anymore. And the dominant society understands they don't want us to get the money because they won't be able to economically control us anymore. The person of color, he can no longer run around and say, we're all in this together, brother. Won't be able to say that shit no more. The scam African, he won't be able to run around and say, man, you ain't American, you African. Fly back to Wakanda. That shit's canceled. And the dominant society won't be able to sell us that all lives matter shit. We gonna say, no, my reparations check matters. That's it. And just mine. Not his, not hers, not them, not they. Foundational, Black American, reparations, cut the check, tangibles, or else. All of that shit is over the moment we get our money. And that's why the world teams up to stop FBA. And I always said it's FBA against the world, and it's cool because we win by a knockout. First round. Oh, but the FBA reparations slander don't just stop there, family. No, I said it. He been on an anti-FBA reparations tour. Let me ask you all this question. Half the time you see Dr.Umar now, is he not talking down on reparations? The majority of the time that you see this brother, he's talking down on FBA, FBA reparations, or both. That's what it is. That's an anti-FBA tour. Damn near you hear him talking about FBA and our reparations as much as you hear him talking about supremacy. Now, we all know that's a drastic change from back in the day. It done flip-flop because our lineage-based reparations has threw a wrench in Pan-Africanism, and his ego has been severely affected by it, where he's willing to put any logic to the fucking corner because I fail to believe that he's not intelligent. Okay, an ego will cancel out any intelligence. You show me somebody who's very intelligent, but they suffer from ego attacks, then all of a sudden they'll start talking very ignorant, very stupid. And that's what you see with this man. This man is intelligent. He knows goddamn well what he's saying ain't true. Dr. CUBAR knows that the dominant society ain't gonna give us reparations in the form of all the music come back, all the black inventions come back, every last black person on the earth gonna get a $1,000 fucking check. He knows that. But he understands that that is just another hidden obstacle, a hidden hurdle, a hidden blockade that he can put in front of us. Be very cautious of the person who comes up with these super, extreme, ultra complex reparations plans, because they know that that shit is super, extreme, and ultra not happening. And it provides them cover. They'll say some shit like, I got a reparations plan. I do support reparations. I just think we should get it by every black person on the planet getting in one big group chat on Facebook. And then once we get a group chat on Facebook, we should send a group message on Twitter and Instagram. But we can only do it at the next solar eclipse on the top of Kilimanjaro Mountain at approximately 12:23 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then we can all look at the North Star and recite an ancient Kemet pyramid text backwards. That's my reparations plan. Don't you agree? Hell no. Fuck to the no. They'll sit there and say that us trying to get our reparations debt owed to us in a just political fashion operating within the laws of America is unattainable. But yet they'll tell us that these magical Harry Potter avatar ass reparations plans are the way we should go. So doing it by the law is unattainable. But doing it on some Harry Potter shit is attainable. Getting reparations for foundational black Americans within the United States of America is unattainable. But getting reparations for every black person on the planet Earth is attainable. Get the fuck out of here. Family, be cautious of these over-complex and uncapable reparations plans. Anybody who has an uncapable reparations plan really does not want you to get reparations. That's why they sold you some shit they know ain't gonna happen in the first place. Dr. CUBAR knows that shit ain't gonna happen in the first place. And that's why he's trying to get us to do it. It's the person saying, hey, come on over here. Come on, if you come over here, we can get it for you. No, you stay your ass on that side of the street, and I'm gonna stay my ass on this side of the street. I got my business worked out. You see, we got a plan. You notice that, right? You notice foundational black Americans, we can recite things that got some real logic behind it. They don't have anything logical. When someone doesn't have something that's logical, that means they don't have nothing. Listen to all of these tethers, all these fleers and these fleemen and all these scam Africans. Their reparations plans are fucking ludicrous. Shit that don't make no sense and will never happen because they ain't got none. They're operating off of pure desperation. They can't present to you no economist. Where's the Pan-African economist? Where's the Pan-African strategist? They can't give you none. Who they got? Dr. CUBAR and some fucking guy living in a village in Uganda? That's who they have? We got the Dr. Claude Andersons of the world as well as many. Where are their Pan-African economists since they got so many suggestions for us? Since they got so many wonderful magical ideas? These motherfuckers ain't got no plans, and the plans they got don't compute. But no, family, the reparations slander don't stop there. Nah, this man been going around putting all these hurdles and obstacles in front of us. Who do you see in the black conscious community speaking down on reparations more than Dr. CUBAR? Name them for me. Name them. Democrats at least pretend that they want reparations. You'll have some fake ass Democratic shield senator and they'll be out there pretending that they want reparations. At least these motherfuckers is acting. Dr. CUBAR is the only person in the black conscious community that speaks down on reparations. He's absolutely on the wrong side of history. He's somebody where the movement has passed him by, and it ain't no problem with it. That's cool, because not everybody gonna get on that goddamn bus. Not everybody gonna come for the motherfucking trip. And as I always say, it ain't that ain't everybody coming or not everyone's going to be saved. Not every motherfucker's invited. He can keep that shit in Pan-African. He's made it clear. He's going to represent Pan-Africanism in the next 20, 30 years as this generation evolves. He's going to be on that side of the fence, and we're going to be over here on the lineage, heritage, culture, reparations. And that's cool. But just don't flip-flop over here when you find out what a lot of people have found out is that scam Africanism never existed. All Pan-Africanism is the conscious version of being catfished. I said it. Y'all know Black Alpha don't give a fuck. I said it, damn right. Scam Africanism is the black version of catfishing. They out here conscious catfishing. It's some shit that you go to find, and when you get there, it don't look like what you thought it was. It's the motherfucker who sends you a picture and they got natural hair and a fit body, but when you see him, the motherfucker got shit locks and looks like expired hair grease. That's Pan-Africanism. You went over there to Africa thinking you was gonna meet Layla Ali, and Lizzo showed up. She ain't got no BBL. She got a goddamn big, bloated, lard motherfucker. Wide as hell. All fucked up. That's scam Africanism. Catfishing like a motherfucker. Hey, y'all finish this for me. She said she looked like Janet Jackson, and she got out the car looking more like who? I ain't even gonna finish it. Y'all better put that in the chat. Put the name in the chat. What she get out the car looking like? She said she looked like Janet Jackson. She got out the car looking like who? Put that in the chat. If you ain't seen Friday, then y'all watch the comment section and y'all look at the chat right now. There go your answer. Oh, by the way, if you ain't seen Friday, that's a sin. And I'm taking your FBA card away from you. That's ours. That shit got confiscated. Who she get out the car looking like? That's Africa. That's what happens. Black folks is running their ass over there saying, I'm going home. I'm back. I'm not American. It's so much better here. That shit lasted about 15 minutes. And they said, what are you doing here? What do you do? What tribe are you from? You're not the original black man. You're not really from Africa. You see, they get offended by black folks running over there. They get offended by your ass running to Africa because they trying to run to America. So they already hating on you. And then when you get to their homeland, now they can just hate on you closer. The proximity of hatred has gotten a lot more immediate. And that's what they do. Invisible blockades, conscious catfishing, and hotep hustlers. But we ain't done. This is the slander that this man has been on when he was talking about FBA reparations. And mind you, it don't sound like the caping he does with Africa. Don't sound like that pound of sugar that he pours on Africans every time he makes excuses for them. When it come to us, it flip-flops. Listen.
And I think that trap is being intensified by the fact that a lot of us are a bunch of greedy Negroes who just want some money so we can go buy some Gucci and some Louis. I mean, let's be honest. Since when did we become so loyal to our ancestors? You know, we're so loyal to African ancestors all of a sudden that we want to fight for their reparations. We haven't built any institutions. Okay, we haven't tackled any of the major problems that we had. You know, we don't really uphold our ancestors' memory. Most of us belong to religions that don't even respect the power of ancestral energy. But when it comes to money, all of a sudden we want to be the vanguard for the ancestors. I see a lot of hypocrisy in the whole situation. Although I do support reparations, Pan-Africanists gave birth to the reparations movement.
Whoa, hold up. Didn't I just tell y'all, family? Didn't I just say that they'll always throw in the, even though I do support reparations? They got to say that to provide cover. And then right after that, what'd he do? He said, I support reparations because Pan-Africanism, we birthed it. You see how he got to put the shine on them? You see how he had to clout chase? What that got to do with anything? Reparations is not about who started it. There's not one honest black person in the reparations movement that gives a damn who started it. It's not about you, CUBAR. It's about us. It ain't about your notoriety, CUBAR. It's about us. It ain't about scam Africanism or your personal ideology. It's about us. We move as a unit, certified hunted, FBA family tree. You can learn a lot from us. We move as a family. We hold each other down. We represent each other. We pick each other up when we fall. You running around here talking about we started it. Come on now. Remember, I always say be careful and cautious of anybody who takes claim to starting anything in the black community. Because let me tell you something. Black folks who have started things, they don't even mention it. They let it ride because they didn't start it for themselves. They started it to give. Every single major accomplishment that has ever been invented in the black community, the person who invented it did not do it for themselves. They did it for the people. That's why they don't run around and ask for clout. That's why they don't run around and say how they started it. That's why they don't run around and ask for recognition. This game is not a game of recognition. This is a game of sacrifice and struggle. And we're going to sacrifice and we're going to struggle. But the only reason why we've been able to overcome that is because we sacrifice and we struggle together. No adversity can stop black people because we go through whatever, big, small, the tall, rain, sleet, hail, snow. We do it standing by our FBA family. All is one. Not no me shit. But if you want to hear that ego that we've been talking about, the same ego that makes this man go off the deep end, that made this man do a complete 180, that makes this man throw blockades in front of our reparations movement because we ain't accepted his ideology. If you want to hear that off the charts ass ego, listen to some shit like this.
So it was clear to me the reason you're jealous is you actually wanted to be me.
Yeah.
You understand? If I go to the conscious community, a lot of them guys, they wanted to be me. You understand the popularity, the success, the education, the credentials, the oratorical skill, the DNA. You understand? The most traveled scholar of the century. If you look at what I've done, there's nobody alive who has the resume. I'm talking conscious or mainstream. Nobody has the resume. And very few ancestors even have the resume.
Whoa, hold the fuck up. Family, I understand that he's saying nobody today has his resume, which is some bullshit, but nonetheless, I can hear that. The man just sat there and said, very few ancestors have his resume. You done lost your damn mind. Somebody get this man some help ASAP. Somebody get this man some help immediately. Somebody get this man some help right goddamn now, because he done put himself in the front of our ancestors. That's what an ego will get you. Remember what I said, family. A toxic ego will cancel out all the intelligence that you have and will make an intelligent person speak ignorant. And that's what the fuck that was. That man said, I am the most traveled scholar in the world. Can't nobody alive match my resume. The ancestors gonna have to scoot over and make a way for Dr. CUBAR. He wants to get the black Mount Rushmore to add 4 more faces. And all 4 of them are him. Ego the fuck out of line. Hell to the no.
I've been a scholar of my stature with my credentials to have the mainstream following of a regular black celebrity. All right. I have the following of a black celebrity. My interviews get more views than people, you understand, who are worth billions of dollars and have sold hundreds of millions of albums.
Who gives a fuck? First off, that's cap. Second off, who gives a fuck? Third, that's cap. And fourth, who gives a fuck? This is about reparations. This is about policies. This is about tangibles. Not how many views your interviews get, CUBAR.
Right there when it comes to followership. If you put me in a room with the top 10 black celebrities in the country, don't be surprised if more people come over to me than go over to them.
It's clear to see, and it ain't hard to tell. He's operating off of me, my, Pan-African, or nothing else. Because that's what people like him want. They want Pan-Africanism for black folks or nothing in between. No foundational black American, no regular black American, no certified black American, no Pan-Africanism. And if you ain't kicking Pan-Africanism, he don't want nothing to do with you. That's the way he operates. Oh, and what I'm saying all real. He'll openly tell you that if you ain't Pan-African, then he ain't rocking with you. He begrudges any black person, man or woman that does not share the same philosophy as him. If you ain't a Pan-African, he sees you as an enemy. That's what it is. Now, mind you, he'll also turn around and tell us that we need to work with everybody. But he openly says that he ain't fucking with you if you ain't a Pan-African. You see how he'll apply some shit over here, and then he'll flip-flop over here. When it comes to certified black society, it's we better accept Africans the way they are. We better accept Pan-Africanism or else. But when it comes to them, all of a sudden it's, well, y'all can hate FBA. I understand why. It ain't that bad. I know you did it, but you see? Two different sets of rules, and it all revolves on if you accept his philosophy or not. That sounds like a preacher, pastor, church person. Y'all know them church folks who say you better accept their religion or else. And if you don't accept their religion, you're damned, you're doomed, or it's a sin. I'm telling y'all, he's slowly moving into that pastor lane. He's starting to sound more and more like some of these old church folks. He's turning into the Pan-African pastor, the Pan-African preacher. He's basically telling foundational black Americans, if we don't accept Pan-Africanism, we sinning. That's what it sounds like. This man has turned into the Pan-African preacher. He running out here saying, if you don't accept the Prince of Pan-African on the third day, that's a sin for FBA. That man done turned into the Pan-African preacher. What the fuck? He done lost his damn mind. He said it's a sin if you ain't down with the Prince of Pan-Africanism. And man, I ain't never did a preacher impersonation before. That was pretty damn good. All right, okay, Black Alpha, I see you. Salute. But he makes it easy because he's slowly moving into that preacher, pastor lane, and he's looking real similar to these church folks. It all starts off with the lectures, and we know all he do is lecture FBA. That's what it turns into. It starts with that finger wagging, just like the church folk. Then it turns into that accept my philosophy / religion, just like the church folk. Then it turns into the give me some money so I can build my church, school, just like the church folk. Is that a school you building or a congregation? I'm starting to see some parallels. I'm starting to see some patterns develop. I'm starting to see some telltale signs. Prince of Pan-African preacher, that's what's happening. And when you see him running around talking all of that dirt on foundational black Americans and begrudging us if we don't want to accept his outdated philosophy, then it proves to you what we've already known. This is spite, jealousy, envy, and above all, ego. And when I say that he openly tells you it's Pan-Africanism or else, hear the man say it for himself.
The point that I'm trying to make is when you engage in any behavior that is anti-Pan-Africanist, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are.
He don't care who you are.
Y'all know in the United States, we have two groups that have popped up. One of them founded by an ex-pimp. We have two African-American tribal groups who are influencing politically uneducated American Africans.
Whoa, hold up, stop. Y'all hear that? Once again, that's straight from Dr. CUBAR, who's straight from Havana. He said, if you engage on anything that's anti-Pan-Africanism, he don't fuck with you, but yet he goes on an anti-FBA rant. Once again, two different sets of rules. When it comes to talking down on us, he got a green light. He wrote himself a pass. When it comes to us questioning Pan-Africanism, then he go all out into a hailstorm. You see the anger? And catch more disrespect. Notice how he says FBA is founded by a pimp who's influencing politically uneducated Negroes. There he goes, calling us Negroes again. Boy, he say Negroes a lot, don't he? He don't never say Negroes when he's talking about people in Africa. Anytime he's talking about foundational black Americans, he's saying Negro this, Negro that. One time I even heard him say FBA are a bunch of thirsty Negroes. Did y'all ever hear that one? Yes, that man said FBA are thirsty Negroes. Let me tell you this, CUBAR. Foundational black Americans, we ain't did a thirsty thing in our life. What's thirsty? Built the country? What's thirsty? Made it possible for everybody to fly over here and benefit? We ain't did a goddamn thing. And if we so thirsty, then how come all the scam African tethers want to come over here and steal off our culture so much? Busta Rhymes, go forward. Where we want to go, it don't stop. Foundational black Americans, I'm one, and we ain't never did nothing thirsty. We're the most powerful lineage, heritage, and culture on the planet. So don't cross that line, bro. Don't even let that shit come out your mouth. You can keep that shit over in scam African land. That's what you can do, because we got a billion tethers that say shit like that.
Who are influencing politically uneducated American Africans
to identify with their oppressor's flag. One group uses the traditional oppressor's flag. The other group has remixed it, but it's still the red, white, and blue oppressor's flag. They identify as being slaves. They identify as being descendants of slaves. They identify as being Americans, but they will never, ever call themselves African. They are useless, they are dangerous, and they're influencing a lot of politically uneducated young people.
Let me give you the rundown just in case you missed it. Useless, dangerous, and identify as slaves. And also he said we identify as the descendants of slaves. Yeah, because we are the descendants of slaves in America. And then he said we'll never, ever say that you're African. That's how he feels about FBA. So when foundational Black Americans or certified Black society hears that, and we put our middle finger up and say fuck you, then that middle finger goes up and it's fuck you. Pan-African preacher. Oh, and that wasn't the first time you've seen him clout chasing, talking about Marcus Garvey started reparations, as if that means anything. Once again, family, we ain't on that. You think anybody gives a fuck who started reparations? Let me ask you all this. Are you more concerned with getting reparations for the lineage? Or are you more concerned with talking about who started the reparations movement? Exactly. And you can tell when it comes to him, you still hear that ego. You still hear that jealousy, and you still hear that selfishness. And that's an ego, jealousy, and selfishness that none of us have. The reparations movement is all about being a collective. It's all about being one. It's all about the FBA family tree. Every episode, y'all hear me start off talking about the FBA family tree. And I say, I don't give a damn what branch you on. I don't give a damn what side you on. If you FBA, we move as one. He's not trying to move as one. Now, it's funny though, because Pan-Africanism is supposed to be about one. I thought we was all one big race. All Black folks on the planet Earth should all be together. Now, does he practice what he preaches? Does he actually lead by example with that? It seems like he only speaks about Black people all together when it comes to getting shit off of FBA's plate. When it comes to mooching off our reparations, we one big Black race. When it comes to we should all accept Africa and denounce our American citizenship, we all one big Black race. When it comes to what he said earlier, that Black Americans should send all of our money over to Africa and help fund their schools, help fund their education, help them out with their water, help them with their resources because they can't get their shit together. Then we all one big Black race. When it come to FBA taking our hard-earned money and sending it back to fucking Wakanda, then we should all be on one page. But when it comes to who started the reparations movement, then it's individualism. See, he jumps from collective to individual, from individual to collective. One big contradiction, one big flip-flop. That's all he does because that's how scam Africanism works. They know when to give us a lecture, they know when to talk down to us, and they know when to denounce us. And he walks around, lectures, talks down, and dismisses foundational Black Americans whenever it seems to be convenient. When it's convenient to be a big Black race, then we all won. But when it's time for some clout chasing and telling people Pan-Africanism started the reparations movement, then all of a sudden it's this shit.
Who the hell said reparations was for you in the first place? See, we want to deal with this reparations thing today. We're going to deal with who said reparations was for your cooning ass in the first place. Who said reparations was for the African American living in 2020? Who said that? Why are you making the assumption that this money is for you?
Damn.
Understand where I'm going with this. If you can understand, or overstand me, I need a black fist from the brothers and a heart from the queens.
Damn, y'all hear that? Damn. Who said that reparations is for foundational Black Americans? Damn.
If you can understand and overstand where I'm going with this, I need a black fist from the brothers and a heart from the queens. Okay? 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 Reparations is not for you. Reparations is for the race. And reparations for American Africans is for the entire community of American Africans. Who is to say we don't put that in the bank and let it sit for $100 for 100 years first? Who is to say we won't take our reparations?
What the hell?
Put 25% of it in the Nigerian stock exchange, and 25% of it.
Whoa, ho, 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 ho. Wait, family, hold up. Wait a minute. Receipt. Didn't I just say that he's trying to all Africans matter our reparations claim? Didn't I just say that he's trying to take foundational Black American reparations and fund Africa with it, which is a backdoor way of handing your shit over to them? Did we not say that? Listen to this man say, how about taking our money and putting it in the Nigerian stock exchange? Family, I'm not lying. Matter of fact, let me give you an example. Let's bring it all the way home. So if your family, your ancestors, and your lineage is traced to, let's say, South Carolina, let's say Alabama, let's say the great state of Georgia. Y'all know I'm biased. Let's say Arkansas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Tennessee, Kentucky, the killing fields of the South. Let's say your lineage, heritage, and culture is traced there. According to Dr. CUBAR, you need to take that money and put it in the Nigerian stock exchange. You cannot make this shit up. He said it. And he wasn't done. No, it wasn't just Nigeria where he said we should take our money and put it in their banks. Nope. He named several other African places where you should take your chattel slavery foundational Black American reparations debt money and send it over to Africa. All African reparations matter.
Who is to say we won't take our reparations and put 25% of it in the Nigerian stock exchange, and 25% of it in the South African stock exchange, and 25% of it in the Ghanaian stock exchange, and 25% of it to invest in Ethiopia? Who is to say that reparations has to be money, and who is to say that it has to be given to you? That's why I'm a visionary. That's why I'm a visionary.
Yeah, you may be a visionary, homie, but your vision fucked up. And you need to go get you some new glasses because you ain't seeing 2020, bro. Hell to the no. Proceed.
That's why I am a visionary. You can't hustle me. All this reparations talk, Garvey is the father of all of it. Take that somewhere else. All this reparations talk, Marcus Garvey is the father of all of it. Take it somewhere else. Okay?
Y'all see how he had to throw that in there, right? Didn't I say he was clout chasing? Didn't I say he wants to get all the credits for reparations? He wants to take the reparations movement and put the RBG flag on it. All African reparations matter. That's exactly what it was. And you knew he had to throw that in there because to him, it ain't about us as a movement. No, we've already exposed him with his own words, with his own ideologies, with his own terminologies, that he's not in it for the lineage, for the heritage, and the culture. He's in it for his own personal fantasy belief in Pan-Africanism. And if he cannot get his own fantasy belief in Pan-Africanism, then he is willing to sink the whole ship. And by evidence, every single thing that you've heard today on the Black AlphaCast, smash that like button and subscribe. Everything that I done played, every receipt and spoiler that I done put out there in the world, now you can see that it ain't about us, it's about him. Scam Africanism. Now let me bring something back home. I don't know if y'all missed it though. Did y'all notice how he said we could put all that money in all those African places? Y'all caught that, right? You should take your money and put it in Ethiopia. You should take your money and put it in South Africa. You should take your money and put it in Nigeria. Let me ask this. It's funny when it comes to all those African countries, then reparations is all about money. Yeah, I'm going there. Yep, you goddamn right. Yep, if you guessed it, you correct. When it comes to all those African people, it's money. And then he tells you what stock exchange and which African country you should put it in. But when it comes to foundational Black Americans, it's we don't deserve the money because we gonna go buy Jordans and a new Cadillac. So do you see how highly he thinks of them and how lowly he thinks of us? That's his own words. Once again, this ain't AI. It ain't artificial intelligence. We didn't create this. That is straight from Dr. CUBAR Vasquez's mouth. He said that shit. Certified Black Society ain't said, we just exposed it. Certified Black Society didn't create that, we just diagnosed it. Certified Black Society didn't run our mouth and say none of that off-code shit. We just showing you what being on-code look like. And this is what it is. This is how it go down. So you see all the way around the contradictions. It's all about Pan-Africanism. Marcus Garvey started the movement. First off, bro, you ain't Marcus Garvey, all right? You ain't Marcus Garvey. Everybody be yourself. Be yourself. Don't try to be like anybody else in the world, okay? We can love our leaders from the past, but we ain't got to be them. We can love the people that we follow today. We ain't got to be them. We don't need an army of 1 billion black folks that all act like one person. Everybody brings their own individuality to the front. And when he starts talking about Frederick Douglass or Marcus Garvey, he damn near tries to tell us in a low-key way he's them, and we should respect him the way we respected them. Salute to Marcus Garvey. Salute to everybody who's ever been on code. Y'all know how we rock. It's certified 100. But don't run around here and act like you Marcus Garvey, bruh. Far, far, far from it. So we got to understand, family, this is the type of con game that bro be on. And at the end of the day, this ain't moving. This era and this generation is being defined by lineage and reparations. That's what it is. During Reconstruction, it was about reconstructing. During the Civil Rights era, it was about civil rights. This is the lineage and the reparations movement of this modern times, and we're all on this side, and it's clear that he gonna ride that Pan-African thing for the long run. And that's cool, because I'm gonna run this certified black society for the long run. And it's all good because be you. See the difference between me and everybody else? I'm not telling Dr. CUBAR what he needs to do. I'm not telling him he needs to come over on this side. We all got our own personal choices. We all got our own accountability. If that's what you want to be on, you be on that. We ain't over here telling nobody what they got to do. We ain't begging nobody to come over here to our side. If that's what he believes in, believe that shit. And we'll see at the end of the day who was correct. That's what it is. Time will tell every goddamn thing. We not on that time that he's on. You see the difference? See, we over here saying, do you. You could be Dr.Umar or Dr. CUBAR, whoever the fuck you are today. You might flip-flop every day of the week. Monday is Umar, Tuesday is CUBAR, Wednesday is Umar, Thursday is CUBAR, whatever. You do you, fam. But we're not on that energy that he's on. He's on that do Pan-Africanism or I got a problem with you. Y'all notice that? Foundational Black Americans, as always, we are in our own lane, minding our own business, ain't trying to convert nobody, ain't trying to change no minds. All we doing is focusing on reparations with those of us who want to be here. That's what it is. Speaking of him going on a tour and denouncing Foundational Black Americans, this is what we really got to address. The rhetoric. Yes, you got to talk about the rhetoric, family, because he's out here throwing a whole bunch of inflammatory, toxic shit. We got to be careful what we say. Anybody who speaks or anybody who represents the lineage, you got to be very, very cautious of the terms that come out your mouth, because the dominant society's always out there and they're always trying to spin our words, twist what we say. Foundational Black American can say, hey, I like Pepsi. They gonna say, why you hate Coke? Foundational Black American can say, hey, I like pancakes. They gonna say, hey, why do you hate waffles? They purposely twist every single thing you say. You can say, I love the sun. They gonna say, why you hate the rain? You can say, I love red. They gonna say, why you hate blue? You can say, man, I'm happy today. They gonna say, why you sad? Your mom ain't at home? Did your dad leave her? Are you upset, black man? I know bad things happen in your community. All they do is twist our words. So we gotta be very, very precise and concise with what we say. Make sure everything you say is to the point. Make sure everything you say is accurate. No way they can remix it. That's why they get so mad right now, because our verbiage is so tight to where we've created new terms that are not vague, they're not ambiguous, and they're not abstract. They're terms that you cannot remix. You can pull out your little DJ kit, you can put every little fucking record on the turntable. You cannot remix Foundational Black American. You cannot remix Certified Black Society. Our reparations claim and everything we're doing is based out of being precise. When Dr. CUBAR comes around and he says a bunch of vague ass shit, but also he says a bunch of off code shit that can be taken any which way. Y'all know that everybody's always trying to say, you guys are a hate group. We got all these fucking tethers who be flying in from every single country imaginable. And they're literally signing petitions saying that we're a hate group. Oh, you guys hate immigrants. Oh, you guys are so xenophobic. Y'all know that y'all hates us. Y'all xenophobic. You done heard the term xenophobic more in the last 2 years than you heard in the last 200. Why is that? Because our reparations game has gotten so strong. And they got to use all of these negative smear slander tactics so they can try to jail our reparations movement. You got folks running around here saying, we not playing that. We gonna march down to the courthouse. We gonna take everybody out. We gonna be extra violent. Y'all know all that extra shit. Y'all remember that NFAC or whatever the fuck, Scam Master J? Y'all remember him? Remember how he was just crazy, saying all types of wild, inflammatory shit? They put people out there like that so they can try to bring down all the progress we have. Our progress scares the hell out of them. So therefore, they got to bring in people to make it look like we're radical. They're always trying to radicalize us. So they'll send in all these fake ops and all these agents that say all types of toxic shit so they can radicalize our movement and take away our credibility. They're upset because we have so much credibility in our reparations movement. We're very professional, we're very savvy, we're very businesslike, a bunch of businessmen and women, and they can't put that radical jacket on us. And they've been trying. Oh, trust me, they've been trying. They've been sending out everybody they can to try to put that jacket on us, but we've been rejecting it because that's how on point we are. And that is the power of being on point. That's the power of being on code. And that is the power of watching your words. Everything is about the language that comes out your mouth. If you say some shit that's off code, people gonna see you as off code. You say some shit that's gonna get your ass indicted, then your ass is going to get indicted. And we're not trying to indict the movement, we're trying to grow the movement. So people like Dr. CUBAR, he been running around saying some things about foundational Black Americans that is completely the flip side of what we're trying to represent. Yes, and that's got to be addressed. Fuck all these interviews with him starting these gender wars and all that. We need to talk about his rhetoric. That's what we need to speak on. Because when you run around here and you start saying that we Negroes and we ain't got our mind right and we selfish, all that does is what they say on the West Coast. That give the game a black eye. That puts salt in the game. And we can't have that. There's too much money to make. We done came too goddamn far to allow anybody to have toxic reparations rhetoric and to express anti-foundational Black American sentiments. Picture this, family. What happens if we come on television, we do an interview, we have a speaking engagement, and we start talking about foundational Black American reparations, how far we've come, we put out a dollar amount, and we start to raise the awareness and the consciousness of it. Mind you, during these elections coming up, people are going to have to address us. That is because of the Black grassroots. That ain't Pan-Africanism. All right, they've been sitting here chasing Wakanda for 300 fucking years. Go on back and chase Wakanda. We have been addressing the issues that affect the everyday foundational Black American, and that is because of the Black grassroots. They're asking politicians from senators, city councilmen, all the way up to presidents, how do you feel about reparations? Anybody that can remember, tell me, in any generation, have you ever seen a presidential debate where the question is, how do you feel about reparations? Cash payment reparations. Have you ever seen any of that in any other generation? No. Now, reparations has been owed to foundational Black Americans since the 1860s, if you want to go there. But not until the last 5 years have they had to address that. And guess what? That just happens to be the same time Certified Black Society, the Vanguard, and the Black grassroots walked into the fucking building. You see the power that we got. Look at all of our brothers out there in California. Speaking of the West Coast, the Reparations Task Force. I was hearing about Black ladies that were 70 years old and were getting on a bus for an hour to come and speak for 2 minutes. That's how dedicated they are to our movement. Salute to all of our elders. Salute to everyone. Those brothers and sisters out there on the West Coast, they were very, very resilient. They threw a lot of nonsense at our brothers and sisters, and they didn't fall for it one time. See, they thought this reparations movement, by now, they thought we would either be infiltrated or we would get tired. They thought we would just stall. Because you know they were trying to stall us out anyway. They thought they would just run us around in circles and we would do what other generations would do, just get tired and go lay down for a fucking year. We ain't did that. As a matter of fact, we've gotten more strong the more shit they thrown at us. Once again, the power of the Black grassroots. Hold your head and salute your own goddamn self. We did that. As I always say, the more they get off code, the more we get on code. So nothing they're doing is working to stop us. And you ever notice when it comes to these scam Africans, they always talking about us. We ain't never talking about them. Foundational Black Americans do not sit around and speak about these scam Africans. But every time you turn around, they got our name in their mouth. So remember, hate goes up and we ain't looking down. Trust and believe. So as we move far and we push through this cycle and we start naming dates, times, addresses, and dollar amounts, that's when the game changes. And if you notice, reparations has started off with, do y'all deserve it? And then we made it clear, motherfucking right. Then it turned into, well, how you gonna get it? And we said cash payments. And then they said, should it be for everybody? We said, hell no, it's lineage based. Everything they've thrown, we've knocked that shit down and we are guiding ourselves and putting our own policies on the line. So imagine if we go somewhere, have a speaking engagement or anywhere that is talking business, and we say, hey, we need to make sure this happens, we need to make sure that happens, and we got to keep this FBA with these dollar amounts. And then somebody, Dr. CUBAR, comes around with his anti-foundational Black American reparations rhetoric, and he starts spewing out all this toxic shit about how we Negroes and we don't deserve the money and we gonna go get Cadillacs. All of that is going to be used as an excuse for them not to give us the money. And then they're going to use Dr.Umar, who is somebody who's in the conscious community, as a catalyst to not do it. Trust and believe, we about a year out before the dominant society starts following that scam Africanism pattern. They watching, trust me, they listening right now. You goddamn right. They listening to everything we say and they watching every goddamn thing we do. And it's about a year out, election season, before the dominant society starts using Dr. CUBAR's rhetoric against us. And they start using Dr. CUBAR as a token for their anti-foundational Black American reparations. Watch it. When it happens, come on back to the Black Alpha Network. We'll do a whole goddamn live about it. We'll break it down. I'll call up everybody in the new black media and we'll sit here and say how we call this shit. We are about a year out before the dominant society starts using Dr. CUBAR as a pawn against us. Well, we don't believe that you should get reparations, and apparently so does Dr. Umar Johnson. Then all of a sudden they gonna like Dr. Umar. Watch, they'll like his ass for as long as that segment is and as long as they can use him. They're gonna say, well, Dr. Umar doesn't believe in cash payments. Dr. Umar doesn't believe in reparations. He thinks reparations should go to everybody. Shouldn't we just send you guys over to Africa? You know they already trying to send us to Africa right now. Roland Martin running around this motherfucker talking about some beep, beep, beep. They got low prices to go back to Ghana now. I'm telling you, this is why you got to watch what the fuck you say. And this is why we got to regulate that shit. And I don't give a fuck who feels any way about it. You can like Dr. CUBAR, Dr. Umar, or whoever the fuck he is today. At the end of the day, that type of rhetoric will be used by the dominant society, and it's irresponsible to run around and go on an anti-FBA reparations tour. That shit got to get called the fuck out, and I ain't afraid to do it. Y'all know, Black Alpha, I ain't scared of shit. I'll say whatever the fuck needs to be said at any goddamn time against anybody who's off code. The code is the leader, and his ass and scam Africanisms are all off code. Don't speak on our business. You made it clear that you ain't FBA, or you don't stand by FBA, or you don't believe in the lineage or heritage and the culture, then what the fuck you speaking on our lineage, heritage, and culture for? That's like somebody coming in your house and saying, I'm not a part of the family, but y'all need to clean up the goddamn room and do the damn dishes. You gonna say, well, who the fuck are you? If you ain't a part of the family, then you don't get to tell anybody what we making during the cookout. We gonna cook whatever the fuck we want, and your ass is gonna go home. You made it clear that you a scam African. Then you need to take your ass over to Wakanda, and you and Killmonger can talk about what y'all eating tonight, because you ain't doing it here. That's the type of time I'm on. That's the type of time we on. And that's the type of time that the black grassroots is on. And that's why our reparations movement is moving. And that's why all they scam African shit is going down. Point blank, period, bottom line. So trust and believe, family, about a year from now, they're going to start using his rhetoric. I already showed you how they were using his rhetoric in that Dr.Phill interview. Dr.Phill is sitting there saying the same exact things that Dr. CUBAR Vasquez said. Right here on the Black Alpha Network, you already know we're going to give them exclusives. Dr. CUBAR said no money. Dr.Phill said no money. Dr. CUBAR said we're irresponsible. Dr.Phill said we're irresponsible. Dr. CUBAR said it's mode in cash payments. Dr.Phill said it's mode in cash payments. Come on, trust me. Do not think for 1 second that the dominant society will not use Dr. CUBAR as a pawn against FBA. They'll be in there saying, hey FBA, here's your homie. I know your partner's on the phone. Let's call your partner. What about your gang member friends? Dr. Umar, he says you guys are all bad. How do you feel about it? You don't need reparations, do you? That's what your homie said. Y'all know how that shit go. Y'all know they're going to use every single inflammatory conversation that Dr. Umar always brings up. And then on top of that, this man comes out and starts some gender shit right before the election. So you know they're going to use all that gender conflict when the Democrats come around and say, Black Girl Magics saved the election. Y'all gonna go vote for Kamala Harris again? Cause blacks men's is misogynistic, toxic masculinity. The only way around that is you go vote for Democrat. You can save the black family. This man popping shit right before the election, and trust and believe, all the politicians are watching every goddamn thing and they gonna start using him. That's what happens in election season. So you gotta stay on code. Yep, now mind you, this is the same dominant society that be waving the RBG flag on Juneteenth. This is the same dominant society where all these members of Congress put on dashikis and kneeled like Colin Kaepernick. So you see, they got a long history of embracing Africanism when it helps them. So what makes you think they won't embrace the Prince of Pan-Africanism, Dr. CUBAR, if it helps them stop FBA? They watching, they plotting, guarantee it, and you heard it here first right here on the Black Alpha Network Certified Black Society. Election season coming up. It's the perfect time for them to try to hustle us, and they gonna use every last Dr. CUBAR interview. They gonna be on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. They gonna find every single thing he's ever said about FBA, and they gonna pull that shit right the fuck on out, and they gonna say, FBA, y'all don't need reparations because one of your own said it. He goes by the name of Dr. CUBAR Vasquez. Let's listen to him.
You selfish Negroes. Ain't nobody paying you. This is for us. This ain't for you. Somebody said under the $14 trillion Bob Johnson plan, somebody said under the $14 trillion Bob Johnson plan, every African American alive will get $350 check. You Negroes are crazy. You Negroes are crazy. You Negroes are crazy right now. I'm catching the African Holy Ghost on the second day of my fast. Did I hear somebody say, under the Bob Johnson plan, every African American gets a $350,000 check? Can I ask you a question? You narrow-minded, tomorrow is not promised Negroes. Can I ask you a question? You narrow-minded, tomorrow is not promised Negroes. Let's say you get your $350,000 check. And let's assume it's tax-free, because nobody got to that yet. Let's assume it's tax-free, because it might not be. Let's assume it's tax-free. What's the first thing you're going to do with your money?
Here we go.
You're going to buy you a house. Probably going to get you a car. Most of y'all going to get a car first, right? You want to turn up, so you're going to go get you a nice Benz E-Class.
Listen to the rhetoric.
Benz. That's about $150 out of $350. You got $200,000 left. Now you want to get a house in a white suburb.
Stop. Damn. That man said, we gonna get our money, go buy a car first, and then go live in the W suburb. Family, how many of y'all's trying to go live in the W suburb? How many? Don't we say black first, black only, just black? You see how he think about us? You see? Now, when it comes to those people that come all the way over here from Africa, and they were openly saying they want to get down with Karen and Ken, didn't he defend it? If you don't believe me, rewind to the beginning of the video. I played the audio. Listen to the very beginning of this video, and you heard him say he understandably agrees with why Mr. Fufu and Mr. Jolov fly over here and try to make friends with Karen and Ken. But when it comes to us, it's you gonna get your car and go live in a suburb. There goes the contradiction again. That's contradiction number 5,822. There it goes again. But it don't stop. Here goes the rhetoric that you gonna see Democrats, you gonna see Republicans use. It's gonna be this right here on why we don't deserve reparations, and they gonna use Dr. CUBAR clips to validate it.
Basically telling me is you want reparations so you can give it over to your yellow baby mama. You want my ancestors' reparations so you can give it to your white baby mama. This is why our generation don't deserve reparations.
Damn. This is why our generation don't deserve reparations. Did y'all hear all the great things I said about this generation? Did y'all not hear me about 10 minutes ago? And I literally, categorically, and statistically broke down why this generation is different. Y'all always know on the Black Alpha Network, I am the one who says we've done more in the last 5 years than the last 50. We done changed everything. We done flipped the game inside out, right side up. And this man says Our generation don't deserve reparations. Family, our generation is the reason why he's even speaking about reparations. Our generation is the reason why presidents are even speaking about reparations. Our generation is why everybody out there on the planet, including dogs, cats, and the weather, got fake ass reparations claims. Everybody follows the leader, and foundational Black Americans are the leader. No one talked about reparations until we did. Now everybody is shook. Y'all have seen reparations go from nothing to the forefront of American discourse. And who's responsible for that? This Black grassroots generation. So you see how positive we view ourselves, and you see how negative he views us. Big difference. And what I tell you, Black people, our lineage, and I know our people very goddamn well, and you do too. Black Americans, we only gonna deal with that negative energy so motherfucking long before we turn your ass off. And that's why Scam Africanism and Dr. CUBAR done been getting canceled, turned the fuck off, and ain't nobody listening, because we don't wake up every day to jump in some negative energy. We wake up every day to be exceptional and excellent. And Dr. CUBAR, this type of rhetoric, that ain't it, bruh. That ain't it.
This is why our generation don't deserve reparations.
Nah, fam. That's a bad look, bruh. That's a bad look. You look a little crazy out here in these streets with that type of talk, family. We over here representing our lineage to the fullest, proud of our accomplishments, and you saying this generation is a bunch of slackers. We behind the 8 ball and shit. Family, is pushing lineage-based reparations further than it's ever been pushed slacking? Is taking ownership over your own heritage and culture slacking? Is crippling the Democratic Party plantation slacking? Come on, that ain't slacking at all, man. That's doing a damn good job. And like I always say, we gonna hold our head to the sky. We ain't gonna let nobody cast no cloud of doubt on us. You can do that shit over in Wakanda. We don't play that shit right here in the USA. All day. Most folks, they fuck with dude back in the day because he used to talk about supremacy, focus on it because he's very brilliant. That's how you know this shit is about ego. This is way about ego. He's too goddamn intelligent. But like we said before, ego will cancel out all of your intelligence. So I know he's intelligent. I met Dr.Umar back in the day. Back then, I'll tell you what I do know now. I'll tell you right now, this Black Alpha. And I can tell you for a fact that when I met him, he was talking about supremacy. He was talking about Black empowerment. And this is before Lineage really took off. So we see where he went left. He went left as soon as Lineage popped up because he is a Pan-African. So you see what he values. Yes, the game has changed completely. And we got to be honest with it. And I don't give a fuck what it is. We got to be real. At the end of the day, he's not responsible with his language. He done went off the deep end. I mean, he done damn near became senile now. How the fuck you go from one of the most prominent people in the Black community? Now you're one of the most prominent memes. They making memes about you now. Come on. I'm telling y'all, he done went off the deep end. This lineage-based reparations claim has drove him insane. He done turned wild as fuck. He like your old ass uncle at the barbecue. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm talking about. He's cool and he's smart. He's just a little loopy. He's over there in the corner telling old stories and saying a bunch of wild ass shit off the wall. That's what Dr.Umar's became. He became that old uncle at the barbecue saying a bunch of crazy wild shit. That's what it sounds like when he gets to talking. And that's why people make memes, because it's funny. That's why I'm laughing right now, because the shit's funny. We ain't on the time he on. We ain't running around here going off and saying crazy shit. Now we laughing because that's how much in left field some of that shit be saying. I mean, come on, fam. All the Black folks on the planet Earth need to get together and sing a Wakanda song and write one big check to every goddamn body. We need to put our money in the Nigerian stock exchange. Come on, man. Get the hell out of here with that. That shit's crazy. But hey, that's just him. Crazy. It is what it is. And let me ask this, while we putting all of our money in the Nigerian and the Ghana stock exchange, what they gonna do for us? What they gonna send to us? They got all the damn resources. How about you send us some shit? Why foundational Black Americans funding all your fuck ups? Why we got to sponsor all your goddamn people? Ain't you got colonizers for that? So y'all over there getting colonized and getting subsidized? No, I got a problem with that. So Africa's over there getting colonized by the European and the Chinese, and Dr. CUBAR wants them to get subsidized by the foundational Black American. Fuck to the no. Our reparations money's gonna stay right here in these 50 states. True story. So we see the play. But we got to let them know this is about lineage-based reparations, not African-based reparations. And to be real with you, on a whole nother level, I got to mark you down as an op. We got to. That's what it is, Umar. I'm just being 100. We got to mark you down as an op because what you say is way the fuck off code, and what you say don't add the fuck up. And y'all know what I say right here on the Black Alpha Network. I say anybody who says something off code, your ass is an op until further notice. We done put your name on the op watch list. Some folks done took it a step further. The Hotep Hustler. So you better be lucky with that. But I can't trust you. That's what it boiled down to, fam. We can't trust you out here in certified black society because you going off the rails. Somebody who's erratic and saying just a bunch of crazy shit, always got spite, jealousy, and envy just pouring out their face, salt all in their goddamn voice, speak with nothing but Anna. When it comes to foundational black Americans, bro, I can't trust you. I don't know what's next. I don't know if the dominant society gonna come around, start speaking to you, start using your terms, start using your words. I can't tell. And that's the problem when you are erratic, and that's the problem when you are filled with jealousy. Your own people look at you side-eye. We looking at you side-eye as a fuck. So nah, bro, cannot motherfucking trust you. Your ego and your rhetoric, that shit borders op. And we just gonna go ahead and push you across that line. You stay over there. We gonna be over here the clean way on this side because I literally don't know what to expect from this dude. One interview, he's speaking facts. One interview, he's speaking empowerment, dropping nothing but jewels. Until we get to the subject of lineage-based reparations, and then he turns into a bold-faced hater and just starts throwing hate and darts all at FBA. He's erratic as fuck. And we ain't got no time for no hating in our reparations movement. We ain't got no time for no jealousy in our reparations movement. And we damn sure ain't got no time for an erratic motherfucker who's unpredictable. Motherfucker be talking about supremacy and dropping jewels, start talking about us and he sounds like a tether. Starts talking about us and starts sounding like Dr.Phill. I ain't fucking with nobody who sounds like Dr.Phill on Monday and the tether on Tuesday. No, I know one thing, there ain't a motherfucking thing you gonna ever hear us say that Dr.Phill gonna agree with me. Like, that's true now. Y'all don't need the money. Fuck nah. That's that erratic behavior, family, and we ain't with it. So for me, this the certified vanguard. I can't fuck with that bullshit. I've got too much of a responsibility to all my B1s, all my certifieds to co-sign or enable any of that. Heck no. Somebody who throws wrenches at us, someone's throwing all this salt in our reparations, nah, bro. Can't do that. Can't do that, won't do that, ain't ever gonna do that. And I ain't defending no type of toxic rhetoric. Nope. And I don't give a fuck. Nobody's above reproach. Not me, not you, not nobody. Everybody's paperwork get checked. And right now, bruh, yours is dirty. And that's without even mentioning the school that you've been building since I was in the 3rd grade. But we gonna leave that on the corner on the side, all right? I'm gonna do you that favor. Because you ain't doing us none. Oh, and if you ever notice this other contradiction, one minute he says we can't spend money, and then the next minute he says, can you donate to me? This man will have a whole interview and literally hate on foundational black Americans for an hour. And at the end, he'll give you his cash app. And let me say this, if the money is so important, how come Africa ain't ever donated to your school? Africa can donate to your school. You already see the way the money flow works. Hell, you were naming stock exchanges in Africa where black Americans can invest in them. How come they don't invest in you? How come Africa, you know, the biggest continent in the world with the most people, how come they don't donate to your school? And how come are you still talking about foundational black Americans giving you money? After you told us we don't know how to spend the money. It sounds like you don't respect our money game unless it's going in your pockets. That's some daddy rich car wash shit for those who have seen Car Wash. I'm not just saying, I'm just telling. True indeed. So yeah, family, we got to regulate all of that. Anybody who's coming around here talking off code and shit, people who are going left, jealousy, that's one thing that we have to always be very, very keen on seeing, and that's jealousy. Because we are excellent people, and with excellence, a bunch of haters gonna come. A bunch of haters gonna come. And you're gonna see the usual suspects, the Democratic shills, the tethers, the minions, the people of colors, and the scam Africans. And it's been framed, and it's been highlighted very, very clearly that they gonna come with some spite, so we just gonna have to come with that regulating. Like I said, they're gonna throw a lot of rhetoric at us. They're gonna use a bunch of bullshit, try to spin our words, but we gotta stop it. And this is why we gotta let this man know you ain't gonna be speaking on us. And if you do speak on us, you ain't speaking for us. Because all that bullshit that he be doing, man, we know what time it is. Fam, we got tethers who do that. We got people who call into our spaces and say, you guys are a group, right? No, we're a lineage. How many times have we had to correct a motherfucker for saying that we're a group when we tell them that we're a lineage? Because they keep trying to put that group on us. Because if you can make us a group, then you can pick a leader. When you can pick a leader for the group, now you can get us away from lineage. See, they don't want us to be a lineage. That's the word that scares them. Lineage, lineage, lineage. And you gotta keep saying that because that's what they're trying to get you to not do. I always say, find out what supremacy don't want you to do and go do it. They don't want us to identify as a lineage. They don't want us to identify as a heritage. They want us to be a group because then they can discredit us. That's why they done had everybody call in. And they're all trying to push that group shit on us. And we keep on rejecting it. I had one motherfucker call in and say, hey Holmes, aren't you guys a group? Next motherfucker called in and said, you guys are a group, brother, a divisive group. And then the next motherfucker called in and said, I know you're a group, man. I can tell you're a group, just telling me y'all. And then the next motherfucker called in and said, I can tell that you guys are a group. Isn't FBA a group? Who is your leader? Is it Tariq Nasheed? Just let me know. Any of y'all who have ever tuned in to any of our spaces, they all loaded up right now. Go check them out. You done heard 100 different motherfuckers call in from 100 different countries with 100 different accents, and every single one of them was trying to ask us if we were a group. And then when we told them that we were not a group, we were a lineage, they would just get mad and start calling us divisive. Now, on my space, they probably got cussed the fuck out and ran the fuck off the block because y'all know how I am. But that's what they would do, and everybody would hear. And you'd be surprised how many different organizations, how many different political parties, how many different freedmen, fleers, tethers, people of color, black and browns would always try to put that group jacket on our lineage. And we keep taking that motherfucker off. You're not going to discredit us. But, family, I done put a bunch of receipts on this table. Now I got the biggest motherfucking receipt ever. We done did a whole lot of exposing on this episode, this tragic story. But family, I got an even more fucked up receipt that I gotta give. Did you notice how I said all these different people would come and try to put the group jacket on us? Try to say that we're xenophobic, try to say that we're divisive, try to discredit us, downplay us, dismiss us, and hustle us. Well, after I heard all the motherfuckers try to play that game on us, then I fucked around and seen a video with Dr. CUBAR doing the same exact thing. Saying that foundational black Americans were a group, saying that foundational black Americans were xenophobic, saying that foundational black Americans are begging. This man said we begging for reparations. So take everything you seen all of the tethers say, everything you seen all the fleers say and all the Democratic shills, and Dr. CUBAR said the same exact thing. Hear it for yourself.
Pan-Africanism means oneness. Pan-Africanism means oneness. Pan-Africanism means oneness. So I don't support the FBA. They are nothing but reactionary, divisive, tribalistic Negro movements created by opportunists to try to get paid off of inciting division within the African race. I will not co-sign it and I will not support it.
Damn, he big mad.
The only FBA that I know of as a school psychologist, the only FBA that I know of as a school psychologist stands for Functional Behavioral Assessment. Functional Behavioral Assessment, which is an investigation into the causes of misbehavior in school children. That's the only FBA I know. Functional Behavioral Assessment. And I'm a master at conducting functional behavioral assessments. Great question, Sister Demi. I don't support those movements.
Now, there you go, family. That is his position on foundational black Americans. Now, is that us being divisive towards them? Or is that them being divisive towards us? I got another one for you. Is that us hating on them? Or is that them throwing hate at us? Because I'm having a hard time trying to figure out exactly what you trying to say. And we done stacked too many receipts too goddamn high today to be out here getting called functional behavioral assessments. Nah, bruh. And I ain't gonna be too many more of you goddamn Negroes either. Every time he talk about FBA, it's you FBA Negroes, you begging Negroes, you Black American Negroes. It ain't ever you African Negroes. It ain't ever you got your ass colonized in your own homeland Negroes. It ain't ever you speaking somebody else's language, waving another man's flag Negroes. It ain't never that. It's always smoke towards us and never that away. You see it? And that shit gotta get addressed and regulated. Disrespectful. He don't ever call us by our name. He calls us out our name on purpose. The most disrespectful thing you can do to somebody is not address them by their name. He goes out of his way to call us Africans in America. And when he's done saying that, he calls us thirsty Negroes begging for reparations. And when he finally says FBA, he says functional behavioral assessment. Disrespectful shit. But that's cool. He can get disrespectful. Yeah, he can get disrespectful all he wants to. Cause I'm about to get real. Y'all wanna know why he talks like a tether? Y'all wanna know why he speaks like a tether? Y'all wanna know why every single thing he says sounds exactly like every single thing tethers say? Because I got some exclusives. Matter of fact, the shit ain't even exclusives no more. The name Dr. CUBAR didn't just become that way. The name Dr. Vasquez didn't just become that way. The reason why this man is going on an anti-FBA tour, the reason why this man is speaking down on FBA reparations. Oh yeah, pull up. Yeah, pull up, we going. If you're just tuning in, salute to you. If you've been here, salute to you too. You're gonna love this. The reason why that man is talking down on FBA reparations is because that man most likely doesn't qualify for foundational Black American reparations, because Dr. CUBAR Vasquez is an undercover tether. One of these folks who runs around, talks about FBA, talks about the lineage and the heritage, but when you start digging and looking into some paperwork, you start seeing non-US of A on that paperwork. And what you do see is some Cuba. You start seeing some Havana. You start seeing some South America on that paperwork. Yeah, it's known now. Oh, it's known. Yeah. Brothers and sisters in the Black grassroots started doing that side eye. Y'all know when we start side eyeing somebody? Y'all know when them red flags start popping up all over the place? Name me one time our red flags went up and we weren't correct. Name me one time. Name me one time. There ain't none. Every single time we spot somebody, frame somebody, or start looking at them funny style, that's because they are funny style. So when you see a guy come around and he's like anti-FBA reparations, and he's got all of these affiliations with tethers, I mean, this whole ideology is against us before everybody who is not us. That is a red flag. The man is not a proponent for reparations. He is an opponent for reparations. As a matter of fact, he is the loudest voice within the Black conscious community against reparations. Not one person in certified Black society, the new Black media, the Black grassroots is anti-reparations, except for his ass. Why? You know why? Because if it walked like a tether, it talked like a tether, it acts and it moves like a tether, then goddamn it must be a tether. Where there is smoke, there's fire. You know where that smoke came from? Hey, I just got this. You know where that smoke come from? That smoke come from that Cuban cigar, because his ass is Cuban. That's Dr. CUBAR Vasquez, straight out of Havana. He ain't straight out of Philly. He ain't straight out of Compton. His ass straight off the banana boat. He ain't the descendant of Frederick Douglass. His ass the descendant of Fidel Castro. He done traded in his collard greens for some communism in this motherfucker. Better take that shit back to old Havana. We gotta see, bruh. Do you even qualify for reparations? We gonna have to check that paperwork. Yeah, that paperwork gotta get snatched up. We don't even know if you qualify. Are you 2/3 FBA? Are you half FBA? Are you full Cubano? We need to know, Mr. Cubano. Are you Cubano? Because if you Cubano, you need to stop talking about Americans. If you Cubano, you need to keep FBA out your mouth. Reparations do not apply to you, Mr. Cubano. You better go holler at Castro's cousin and try to go get a check from him, because your lineage is in question, Mr. Cubano. Your heritage is in question, Mr. Cubano. You done messed up. All that goddamn talking, I'm telling you, tethers gonna run their mouth and expose themselves. You know what they say? Loose lips sink banana boats. God damn. Damn. I said loose lips sink banana boats. That's fucked up. Hey, you gonna fuck around and make us call ICE, CUBAR. You gonna keep on talking, we gonna call ICE, and all them questions about your lineage, that shit gonna get answered in a flash. Your ass to go from pan-Africanism to pan-deportationism. Play with it. What they say, fuck around and find out? Well, you gonna fuck around and find yourself in the immigration office. You gonna go from North Philly to south of the border. You fucking with the wrong people at the wrong time. You better go back to the yes we can era, cause it's the hell to the nah era. Hell to the nah, you ain't speaking on FBA business. Hell to the nah, you ain't running interference on our reparations. And hell to the nah, we ain't writing no passes for no Pan-African preacher, no hotep hustler, and no banana boat buster. Damn, the banana boat buster. We coming up with all new shit today. The banana boat buster. Y'all go ahead and hashtag that for me, please. The banana boat buster, the hotep hustler. Goddamn, epic roast, FBA style. That's what we do. We tell them, cross that line, you gon' see. Now they was like, is he Cuban? Ain't he Cuban? Could he be Cuban? They was trying to figure that shit out. The black grassroots, oh shit, we been answered that question. That question been answered. That problem been solved. And we solved it the same way we solve everything. Using their words against them. What I always say on the Black Alpha Network, y'all make sure you smash that like button and subscribe right now. What I always say. I say, don't get mad at certified black society for exposing the bullshit. Get mad at yourself for saying the bullshit. See, we didn't have to say he was Dr. CUBAR. He said he was Dr. CUBAR. We didn't have to say he was the descendant from Cuba. He said he was the descendant from Cuba. They asked for the receipts and we gave them.
Peace and love, black families. The Prince of Pan-Africanism, Dr.Umar Johnson, live and direct. I'm here in Cuba. We down on the South Coast having a good time, really enjoying myself. You know, I have a great-grandfather who was from Cuba who migrated to the United States of America. You know, I have a great-grandfather who was from Cuba who migrated to the United States of America. I had the blessing of meeting him prior to his transition unto the next level. And so it was an honor to meet that great-grandfather of mine. He was Cuban. It was an honor to meet that great-grandfather of mine. He was Cuban. He was Cuban. He was Cuban. He was Cuban. He was Cuban.
And the receipts don't stop.
He was Cuban. And so it was important for me to come, you know, as someone who studies the ancestors. It's always important that I visit the homes of my ancestors and connect with that great energy. It's always important that I visit the homes of my ancestors and connect with that great energy. As you know, Cuba was one of the first Caribbean islands to begin the enslavement of African people, and it was one of the last Caribbean islands to ultimately eliminate slavery.
Right there. He made it home, y'all. Dr. CUBAR Vasquez made it back to Cuba. Listen to what he said for anybody who's gonna go out there and say, that's not what he said. Yes, the fuck he did. You heard it loud and clear. Receipt number 1, he has a grandfather who's Cuban. Receipt number 2, that grandfather and his family migrated to America. Receipt number 3, he goes back home to where they're from to visit them. And receipt number 4, certified black society is right again. Goddamn, checkmate. For anybody who comes out and says, that's not what he meant, and all the people saying he ain't Cuban, did you just hear it? Did you just hear it? He said it, we didn't make it up. Once again, we correct, take that L, hold that L, and understand that when the black grassroots sees some shit that's funny style, we gonna call that shit out, and when we call it out, we batting 100. Certified 100. Yeah, damn right. Now we gotta figure out, that's one side, what your other side look like. So when we say the lineage is in question, we can already identify one half of that lineage is non-FBA. So the next question is, how about the other side? So therefore, your lineage is in question until further notice, because there's a big difference between being FBA on both sides opposed to being FBA on no sides. So when you run around and you talk about our foundational Black American reparations that go back to our lineage, heritage, and culture in this country here, and you speak about taking our money and giving it to everybody else who was not here, that got undercover tether written all over it. Now I know that he's the descendant of everywhere he goes, okay, wherever he visits, wherever they pay him to visit, okay, he's the descendant of Castro, Bruce Lee, George Lopez, Bob Marley, and Ricky Martin. His ass is the descendant of Living La Vida Loca, Who Let the Dogs Out, and the Macarena, all right, whoever paying him. But we got receipts that your ass got some tether floating all around. That's what we do in the Black grassroots. We keep it certified all the time. Now, speaking of keeping it certified all the time, we spoke about rhetoric and people running their mouth, people saying things that are off code and out of pocket, running interference on our reparations, which we ain't playing for. But understand, there's been a whole situation out there. Y'all know I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to address it. We ain't going to pivot around it and none of that. Lately, there's been a whole lot of drama going on with something that Dr. CUBAR said on one of these little shows. And by the way, these people who be interviewing him, I don't know who they are, don't really follow him, don't know much about him. Because I do know one thing, he never comes over here to the new black media side. Because y'all know, we're not going to let him slide. We're not going to let him talk down. We're going to press him for everything he says. And he damn sure ain't going to talk over us. Know that, trust that, and believe that. As a matter of fact, I'm inviting Dr.Umar to come on down. Come on over to the Black AlphaCast anytime. You want to have a conversation about reparations? Talk to a foundational Black American on both sides, me. You want to have a conversation about tangibles and policies and what we need to do as a lineage, heritage, and a culture? Come on, talk to me. I'm giving out an open invitation to Dr. Umar Johnson to come on to the Black Alpha Network, my channel, and we can sit down and we can chop it up. We can chop it up. We can have a conversation. We can debate. It'll be all love and all respectful because that's the way I operate. But the open invitation is out there, and I know he be having a lot of folks that be listening, so y'all make sure you let him know, because what we're not going to do is have a bunch of people who are not qualified to speak on foundational Black American issues interviewing him and have him just steamroll them. Come on down right here, talk to a real one, and then we can have a real discussion. Until then, we ain't going for it. Now, there was an interview that he had lately that caused a whole lot of disruption, a whole lot of confusion, a whole lot of melee, and it started some gender bullshit. Now remember, gender war equals off code. Off code equals disqualified, and disqualified equals getting your ass thrown on the corner like it's trash day. So there was a whole bunch of people feuding and fighting on Instagram, on Twitter, back and forth, saying who deserves responsibility for this, who needs to take accountability for that. And here's what I got to say. Salute to the family, because we weren't falling for that. We didn't get all mixed in the gender stuff, all that back and forth, all that distraction. Salute to y'all, because all my family, I noticed, we weren't in that. We let everybody do their back and forth, because y'all know every few months we do this circle where folks start fighting over something irrelevant. Only thing we have to do is stay foundational Black American and excellent and get this money. And we're not going to let nobody get in the way of us getting our money. But the main thing that was missed during that whole distraction was nobody was talking about his stance on reparations and his animosity towards foundational Black Americans. While everybody was breaking it down and having conversations and arguing, we was sitting back looking at it like, did y'all not just hear this man say he don't support reparations? Did y'all just not sit back and hear this man say it's okay for immigrants to come here and disrespect us? That's what we were on. All of us right here in the Certified 100, the Black grassroots, the new black media, because my brothers and sisters been on it. We all caught the real shit he was saying. We jumped over all the nonsense. See, all that is just a distraction. That man was sitting there throwing dirt all at us. He was his typical big mad, but nobody talked about it. You see, you got to understand, there's always going to be something that's going to arise that's going to distract the masses, and that's why we stay focused. And that's why I send a certified salute to all of y'all, because we didn't fall for the hustle. Hell to the no. We let everybody fight on Instagram. We was focused on reparations. We let everybody fight on TikTok. We was focused on reparations. We let everybody fight on Twitter. We been focused on reparations. And whatever it is the next time they start bickering on some bullshit, we gonna stay focused on reparations. That's where our mind is. That's what you call eyes on the prize. And we don't let no distractions get us off. But think about this though, family. Before all of this drama, when was the last time anybody was even talking about Dr. CUBAR? When was the last time he was even the topic of conversation? I can't figure it out. Last time I seen him, he was doing some damn dance at a wedding he was having. Y'all don't even know what the hell that was about. He had some type of fake/real wedding, and all I know is he had on a whole white cloak and he was dancing in the street. Y'all seen the damn video. That shit was funny as hell. That's the last time I even seen Dr. CUBAR. As a matter of fact, no, I seen him outside doing some type of speech and only 3 people were there. So outside of this, when was the last time anybody was even speaking about him? And you know he's loving this right now, right? Because this is the only thing that has people talking about him again. This is the only thing that has people even mentioning his name. Because like I said before, he was coming with all that negative doom and gloom and black folks turned his ass off. We don't do that shit. So where the fuck was Dr. CUBAR before this? And why wasn't anybody talking about him before this? I got the answer. Where was Dr. CUBAR? I'll tell you where. He was in the Dominican Republic and he was in Cuba, back home. And right here in Foundational Black America, he was an afterthought. And it took some weak ass gender drama to even get people to mention him again. We wasn't on that, because like I said, we was on the issues and we was like, nah, bro, what was you saying about reparations? What was you saying about immigrants? We was pressing them the whole time. But y'all know there's always that little ratchet side of the community, that love and hip hop side of the community, that Real Housewives of Atlanta side of the community. And y'all know they eat that drama up. They not here for tangibles or resources or anything like that. They only here for the mess. Y'all know the real messy ass people, them. Y'all know whenever we're having a real conversation, breaking down real good game, dialogue, building with each other, there's always somebody who calls in, hey fool, man bro, I don't think they's gonna give us the money. I think y'all's is just tripsing. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Where all that money come from anyway? We's really our worst enemies. The W man ain't that bad. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That's the side that feeds into all that ignorant gender drama. And let me say this, family. The gender drama, that's the weakest, cheapest, wackest shit that you could possibly do. That shit is whack as hell. And you notice all these little relationship podcasts that done popped up in the last 5 years? Y'all notice that 99.9% of them are ran by fucking morons. Morons that we don't even know who they are. All they did was bought them a goddamn little webcam, turned that motherfucker on, and started bickering back and forth with each other. These people have nothing to do with foundational Black American reparations, so fuck them. These people have nothing to do with foundational Black American empowerment, so fuck them. Anybody who's trying to draw a wedge between brothers and sisters, kings and queens, goddess and gods, fuck them. Did I make that plain enough? Ain't it pretty simple? It ain't that deep and that complex. So everybody going back and forth on that shit. Brothers and sisters on this side, we stay on one page, and that's getting what's ours. And calling out anybody who tries to run interference or distractions on it. So salute to the family again, because we wasn't falling for the games. We stayed full throttle, pedal to the flow. Real reparations, not ratchet reparations. You damn right. But notice that Dr. CUBAR, I'm telling y'all, he eating this shit up. He eating this shit up because he done put out a couple songs and ain't none of his songs selling. He done put out a couple singles, all that shit done flop. That shit done went triple plastic. That shit ain't seen gold nor platinum. But now he got Instagram talking. Well, why they talking? Why they fussing? Why they messy? You know we seeing the real. We seeing the real points. I want you to notice that as he was having that debate about black men and women, notice how he was still throwing foundational Black Americans under the bus. This is what nobody caught, but this is what we gonna highlight. Oh, you know, we see the shit that don't nobody see. We call out the shit that don't nobody want to call out. Notice how he said, the problem is black men's fault. And then he turned around and said, but black women, y'all better not talk to Africans this way. Didn't I say, you know Africans was gonna be in this somehow? So when everybody was arguing about this side versus that side, he was still saying Africans are better than both of y'all. But y'all know all my certified brothers and my certified sisters, we caught that shit and we called that shit the fuck out. Listen here.
I'm gonna go get you an African man from the continent. All right. You're gonna have to understand that the way in which you talk to black men in America will not be tolerated over there. Will not be tolerated over there.
He said, the way you talk to black men in America, that will not be tolerated in Africa. You notice how the whole mood shifted then. It wasn't about responsibility. It wasn't about a gender war. It wasn't about gender drama. It was about, you better not talk to Mr. Fufu like that. I'm warning you. You could talk to anybody you want to, but don't you dare talk to an African like that. Nope. Mr. Jollof ain't playing that shit. His whole vibe changed. And all of a sudden, all that riding for sisters that people were trying to push, didn't sound like he was riding in. It sounded like he was riding to a limit. And what was the limit, family? The limit was caping for Africans. You see? What do we say? When it's about reparations, it'll go to the limit. And then it starts caping for Africans. When it goes to empowerment, it'll go to the limit. Then he starts caping for Africans, and he did the same exact thing when it comes to this gender drama. He starts saying all these nice things about sisters so he can get some donations until it got to the African man. Then he started talking down. And then here comes the lecture. And he does that in every single subject, in every single conversation. Everything will be sweet until it's an FBA on this side and it's an African on that side. Then all that Instagram loving hip hop ratchet ass gender drama, you realize that your ass just got scam Africaned too. Now let me throw a heads up out there because ain't nobody saying this. Notice how we'll take testimonies of what's going on over there in the diaspora, and no one ever gives us any type of heads up. Think about it. Everybody will come over here and say, FBA, I'm on y'all side. We's not all bad. I'm from Africa. I'm from Jamaica. I'm from Haiti. You got some allies over here. Y'all know I done broke that down before. Them folks who always come to us and tell us we not all bad. We always hear that. And remember how we were saying how scam Africans, they'll always try to sell us Wakanda, but they don't tell us what's waiting for us when we get over there? Yeah. Now notice how quick he went from good to bad. He went from weak to tough. He went from soft to hard when he brought up that African man. Matter of fact, he said how you talk to him won't be tolerated. Damn. So basically, he wants our sisters to bow down to an African the same way he wants Black Americans to bow down to Pan-Africanism. Yeah. But you notice they don't never give no heads up on what's going on over there? We got to go get our own testimonies. See, what Dr. CUBAR won't mention, just like any of them won't ever mention, is that they don't feel too good about us. So when he's saying, go get you an African man, yeah, let's talk about how those men talk about our women. Listen.
Fair not to get married to an American woman is because most American women are wired for divorce. Many of them come into your life just to divorce you. They are okay with going.
Listen, y'all hear what he said? This is a tether from over there. Dr. CUBAR ain't mentioned this. He ain't talk about this. Nope. All he said is when you meet an African man, you better bow down because they won't tolerate it. Listen to this. He knows this shit right here going on over there. He knows how those men are over there. He knows goddamn well. He just ain't gonna say nothing. Because when it comes to Pan-Africanism, it's that over all the Black Americans, man or woman.
Going through a divorce, they are not willing to take any hit. Any little thing. I'm about to go to the car. I'm about to go to court and get a divorce with you right now. I ain't playing with you, boy. I don't want you no more. I'm gonna check out this relationship. I do not want to go through that. Most American women live on fast food. Checkers, KFC, Popeye chicken, and, McDonald's. I do not want to go through having to buy food every day outside. This is one of the reasons why I would prefer to get married to an African woman, because African women, they have been trained to make food in the house.
Did y'all hear that off-coded tether ass shit? First off, he said, we live off of fast food. Homie, I know you ain't talking about food. You don't want to have that food conversation. He talking about African women know how to cook in the house. Yeah, because you living with what you cooking, foo-foo. I know you ain't talking with all them damn videos we see what the fuck they be brewing up over there. If you don't sit your tether ass down, Mr. Jollof, let me say this, and I'm going to speak on it, and I believe I'm qualified to say it. Certified foundational Black American sisters don't want no dusty ass, raggedy ass, broke down, Fleedman Fleer, tether hairline motherfucker anyway. So you go ahead and keep that shit over there, and you go ahead and cook whatever the fuck that is you got on that stove, if you even got a stove, and we gonna be good over here on this side. Know that, trust that, believe that. Motherfucker, you better take that shit back to Tetherland, or Jollof Land, or Foo-Fooville. Fuck you talking about? We actually have a stove with a refrigerator and electricity. You get your water well fixed and then you come talking to us, Tether man. But that's the type of man that Dr. CUBAR didn't mention. Nah, so while he over here stirring the pot with foundational black Americans, he ain't saying nothing about that type of guy over there because he's selling that Wakanda. He's going to sell Wakanda when it comes to education. He's going to sell Wakanda when it comes to finances, when it comes to land, when it comes to reparations, and he's going to sell Wakanda when it comes to relationships. The same way they say this is the motherland, go home is better than America, that's the same thing they try to do when it comes to relationships. They say, y'all not gonna make it here in America. If you want a spouse, go over to Africa. And they try to put a wedge between our brothers and sisters here in America, the same way they try to put a wedge between our reparations right here in America. But the new black media, certified black society, and the foundational black American family tree been calling that shit out. Salute. So much respect to all of my sisters, all of my brothers. We building, we working, we shining, we grinding, and we winning. And they get mad that no matter what mess they throw at us, we walk right over that shit. We continue to put it down, and that's why when it's all said and done, we gonna be counting the money, and everybody else is gonna be watching us count the money. Yes, indeed. But man, it's been a hell of a Black AlphaCast tonight. You know there's nothing better than chopping it up and breaking it down with the FBA family, putting out that energy that only we got, hold shit down like only we can, and just making everybody who don't like us more mad. What I say, our job is to keep the pocket watchers pocket watching, and our job is to keep the haters pissed off, and I think we've been doing a damn good job of it. This has been another episode, and you guys know we're going to continue to bring the fire. We're going to continue to bring the heat. Understand this. We stand alone. We walk alone. The only people that accompany us is family. We ain't got no friends, and we ain't searching for them. It's FBA all day, point blank, bottom line, and we do things our own way, on our own time, and we ain't asking no questions. And that's why we're moving along at the speed we're moving along. Nobody can come up in here and tell us that we ain't doing the right thing. Can't nobody tell us that we behind the 8 ball or we underachieving. All of that shit is distractions, and y'all know how we handle distractions. You know how we handle them? They line the motherfuckers up, and we knock that shit down. Straight down. The money's coming to us, nobody else. We ain't sharing. We're going to keep all them 20s and 50s and them 100s right here in this FBA house. And remember, we got that sign in the front yard that says FBA only. Trespassers will be G-checked. And we're going to G-check them with pride. But you know, everything we do with pride all starts with what we got on the inside, and what we got on the inside is completely different. Heart. And life is nothing without heart. Every single thing you do, you got to bring it with you. You sprinkle in a little FBA soul with that FBA heart, and then voila, you got us. How's the old saying go? We're cut from a different cloth that they don't make no more. Let me change that up a little bit and say we're cut from a different cloth, but they make them every day. But we're the only ones who got that design, so we're going to keep on riding on them. But you know we had to put a couple people in check, but we're gatekeepers, and that's what we do. If you ain't enforcing the code, you don't have a code. It's a tough job, but somebody got to do it. But you know, it's one love. Salute to our brother, Dr.Umar Johnson. You know, my warrior brother, man. You know, you keep on fighting supremacy, I'm going to do the same thing. We all real ones on this side, so everything is everything, and the movement continues. But as this movement continues, Black Alpha Network, we're going to continue to put it down. You guys, I appreciate you. I love you with the passion. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you share this video if you haven't already. And everything we do, we're going to do together, because I stand with the family stands with me, and we stand above everybody else for life. We are one tonight. Let us be one in the future. Power to all of our people. Because remember, black is beautiful, and beautiful is always black. One love.